everybody.
Alive than others.
So, yeah, some of us more alive than others. And some of us wallowing in limbo, debating questioning life itself, and pondering in the dark depths of our little black hearts. So happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Ali is very in character today.
I'm always in
I was
character. That's just me.
You are, but those sunglasses are
Aren't they
something else.
wicked? I love them.
They're awesome.
I put them on, and then I remembered that I have the little alley bat that's on the thumbnail, and I was like, oh, sweet. Perfect.
Oh, that's great. So you have the glasses. What I need to do is get an Energizer Bunny suit, and then paint it black to fit with the goth theme. No, I'll I'll buy the same suit as Frega, and you'll wear the glasses.
I
Yeah.
see your bunny suit, and I want it painted black.
I don't know where that's from.
It's a song.
Okay, all right. So happy Friday the 13th. We are
Friday the
going to
13th.
be talking about monsters today. I notice you, Prater. I notice you.
Praetor.
Hello. Yes. Hello. Let me say hello to everybody. So many people here. Thank you for being here, everybody. Maromi, thank you for posting the links. Hi, Adam
Maromi.
Kember. Hello, Paul Taylor. Snuggie. Hey, Narwhal. We just had a really cool show yesterday. Also talking about like world building stuff. So
wait, hold on. Somebody just asked a question. Yellow Spider Guy said, "Is it Halloween?" Every day is Halloween, friend.
That's right. Every day is Halloween. Tentacle Pentacle, what's up? John Lee, hello. Aviator, hello. Hi, some person. The Spider Guy, Leighton Gorgeous. Oh, thanks. John, hello. Hi. Alex. Did I already say hi to Alex before? Well, I'm saying hi again. Lady Ali Sanguis. Hey, that's you. Praetor, hi again. Rio Stew. So many awesome people. Black lives or black votes. Ooh, damn. That's spicy. Hello, Leighton Lofty. Ha ha ha. 40% said hi, Mo Biggs. So many people locking
Mo
up.
Biggs.
Teflon Ron. And Let me see. Ryuken. Yang Yan Zhao. What's up? Hi. Alright, it's like Rancer X. Hi, hello. Oh, I don't think I've seen you around before. Thanks for joining us, Jedi Knight of the Snyder Cult. Hello, everybody. All right, well, welcome. If you haven't seen the show before, I figure I should like do an introduction at the beginning every time, right? This is the show I do with Ali Sanguis here. Ali's a writer. She writes prose books and she writes for comics. And of course, you guys know me. I draw comics and I write weird like fantasy mystery shit, and my comic is fiendish. So check that out. Check out Ali's books. Our links are in the description. And on this show, we talk about world building. What's that?
It's a
that's so cool!
With my cover to my book on it.
Oh my god!
It's in my hand.
That's pretty awesome. I just got a new Fiendish shirt. I should go put it on.
Fiendish shirt. I have a Running Crown shirt, but I don't like it because the place that I ordered it from, it was like a test. The place that I ordered it from wasn't like good enough, so it like got all fucked up. So yeah. I ordered them from a different place now.
Let's see. Sorry.
Straight, your channel is cursed because like whenever I go on it, my bangs are just like, and I don't know what they're doing.
That's better. Sorry, the audio settings are a little weird. Just my channel?
Just your channel.
Why does my channel?
Or is that a subtle dig? Ali, your bangs are always awful.
No, it's not.
I know.
I'm just saying I really don't notice. Your bangs
You're not possible.
I'm not superficial like that.
You're not capable of making subtle digs, I know. That's what I love about you.
I really am not. I'm not. I'm a retard. I don't think about these things.
That's why I adore you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, Alex Verb. That's very nice of you.
Hello, Alex Verb. Hi, Rule. Hello, McGregorable J.
Oh my gosh.
Snuggie notices the bangs. Oh.
John Lee likes Renie's bangs. Quit sucking her dick.
Well, my hair actually does look nice today. I really, my hair is like a disaster half the time, so that makes me happy. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so um, monsters. And today we're talking about monsters. So how
Monsters.
should we start? The way we kind of do this is we don't know what we're doing, so we just take questions from the chat on the subject matter. And I guess to start it off, I will ask you, Lady Ali Sanguis, what sorts of notable monsters do you have in your world? Just as introduction.
Um, well, first I realized something while I was waiting. I don't really know what we're classifying as monsters because if we're talking like scary friggin' demon things, none. I have none of those.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know if it was like monsters or creatures because I have creatures like werewolves, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
vampires, but they're mentioned. There are no vampires like in it, but um, they exist there. But I don't really have like scary demon monsters, but I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, John Lee, you're not allowed to suck my dick either, but thank you. Uh, so, but we do sometimes also talk about like, not specifically monsters, but like we talk about stuff that we love from other books. Um, uh, I forget where I was going with that, but we do. So I
Other
do
books.
have monsters
Okay.
from like other books that I like, um, just for being what I would consider uh, in intriguing. That's not the word I'm looking for. Fuck.
Appealing.
Unique is the word I
Mm,
was looking for.
right.
Uh,
Love
so
to.
yeah, but I understand your book has like a ton of monstery things.
Yes, it does. It does. Well, that's is a huge point of the plot. Is the story starts out as my main character Casimir, his hometown was destroyed by monsters when he was young years ago, and it's a fantasy world, so there are like monsters here and there. But like the way I built Fiendish is I try to not take from too much of not like as in just specifically Tolkienian fantasy and a lot of stuff that's already exists. Like I did take from mythology, and I, of course like nothing is like completely original, but I tried to like just like I built my own species and races and all that kind of stuff. But and the monsters are as well. And like I have a lot of pretty obvious influences. I'm a huge fan of Berserk, and Berserk is influenced by Devilman, so that kind of like a little Lovecraftian, little dark tentacly monster kind of design. That influenced the look of my monsters, but the way they work is pretty unique, and I actually can't like spoil too much about how they function. But so the main story revolves around these mysterious demonic creatures that don't aren't like one of the common creatures or common monsters that you would already find in this fantasy world. So that my core characters are trying to find out where they came from and sort of go back to Casimir's destroyed hometown and like dig through the clues of these ruins and find the truth. So that's the way my story is going in the beginning. And so it's pretty integral to the story, and I think with so like without spoiling too much, I try to design them in a way that really reinforce the themes of what I want to write about, right? I think that's important. Well, like the way you have to think about how your it's just like how your character's personality and their flaws should tie directly into the plot and the theme. It should all work together because your themes and your story, it's like writing an essay, it's like you're writing a proof. So and the if you have some sort of monster, and whether or not it's as big of a part of the plot and the story as in my book, for example, it something like a monster, it's generally, I would say, well, if it's something to be fought, whether it's something to be fought or if it's like, you know, it's just a monstrous creature that's an ally, I have those too. I actually have of several fantasy species that I came up with, and one of them in particular, you can see this on the website, phoenixcomic.com. It's my version of vampires, and they're sentient beings. They're actually not undead, but they do drink blood, and they look like monstrous. They look like they have no skin, and they're all wrinkly. They have like, sharp teeth and stuff, but they're like just normal people. So I kind of wanted to turn that whole vampire thing on its head a bit too. So I think if you going circling back to like a lot of things when you're working in fantasy, you can just create things that are cool and original, and think about how to expand upon an idea, and like, instead of trying to be overly fancy with it, maybe just commit to one idea and expand on it as much as possible, right? If that makes sense. But if your story is about fighting monsters and their antagonists, it should tie into like the actual meaning of your story. Like The Witcher does this pretty well, for example. A lot of times, like the monsters in each sort of like section, each arc of The Witcher ties into the themes. It's like this theme. This story is about, like people being manipulated. So you have this like female monster who looks really beautiful, but is manipulating a man to be in love with her and causing him to like kill people around them and that kind of stuff, right? So it ties into
Holy
the theme of
crap!
the
Wait,
story.
you wrote about Meghan Markle?
Well, I think we're starting to figure out she might be like a monster in disguise from ancient European mythology. Oh, we were figuring it out.
Yeah, yeah,
The
maybe just a little bit.
manipulative bitch. Very, very. I spoil like, in case it's not obvious. I don't think either of us have a high opinion of her. So
No.
very low opinion. Very low opinion in general.
The
And let me see.
lowest.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, she's kind of a
I
bitch.
forget who asked it now, but I saw somebody had asked what makes a compelling monster.
Hmm. Let me see. All right, I'll answer some questions. Well, let's answer some questions from chat now.
Okay.
What makes a compelling monster? I think they have to be intimidating, and it's that simple. But being intimidating is more than just looking scary, right? And especially, I think nowadays, like, people aren't that easily scared anymore because we have so much media out there. You have to think about something cool to do. Like, there has to be something more than they look gross and shit. Like, that definitely helps, but there has to be something more about it. Like, Gantz is an interesting example. So, like, in Gantz, a lot of the monsters are, spoilers, are aliens, and their ability to just come out of nowhere. And it's like you'll have a statue on the side of the street that you think it's a statue, but it's actually an alien with like superpowers and shit. But like, so they have to sort of defy your expectations and do things that you don't expect and seem unsurmountable by the characters. So in Fiendish, the one thing I revealed about the monsters is they're like these dark, like slimy tentacle monsters with no faces, except they have like these weird face like growths all over their bodies, but they don't have like a head. So I thought that would be really unnerving, like a creature that doesn't have a normal head, but it usually just has tentacles in its place, and that was really gross and shit. And they're all slimy, and they're like the slime on them is seems to be
Dude, just
acidic.
wait till the people who are like into fan porn get a hold of that.
Oh fuck, yeah, it's gonna be terrible. I just, I wasn't thinking of that. So everybody makes fun of me for, oh, you're drawing tentacle porn. It's like I just wanted to draw something gross and scary. I wasn't thinking about porn, guys. But
Yeah,
well, what
weirdos.
was it? What was the internet rule? It's gonna happen.
Rule
It's
35.
yeah, rule 34, 35. Yeah, that
30, 35, 34 is if it exists, there's porn. 35 is if it does not exist, it must be made.
there you go. So rule 34 and 35.
I spent my fair time on 4chan in 2007. I'm
I
cool.
see. You are cool. Thank you for enlightening me. But yeah, so I think
For liking me. Oh my god.
what?
Oh my god. Thank you for liking me.
Huh?
Did you say that? Thank you for liking me. You're cool.
No.
Oh, what'd you say?
I
You
forgot.
said you are cool. Thank you for liking me. Am I
Oh,
crazy?
maybe I did say that. I
Okay.
don't remember. I'm dumb.
Whatever.
I can't.
Wow. You and I both. We can't remember what we said 5 seconds ago. Dude, no. Maybe that's what's wrong with women. Like even if we compliment each other, we can't even remember that we did it. We're just like, "Wait, I didn't say I liked you.
Yeah, that's
Shut
why so
up."
many women hate each other.
Like in Zoolander 2 where that guy's just like, "Hey, I love you guys. You're stupid." Like that's retarded. It's great. Like that guy. Renie, have you been drinking? She's drinking right now
I'm
out of the
drinking
skull
coffee.
of her enemy.
I haven't been drinking alcohol. That's just how I am. I'm completely sober right now. I'm actually drinking coffee. Okay, Adam Kemper, what the hell is with vampires getting watered down for being badass to limp wristed crybabies of fan fiction and thirsty women who
Yeah,
drink
it's pretty much just
who are
women.
who I don't know,
I hate to
thirsty
say it.
wine moms.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but Anne Rice kind of began that.
Mm.
Um, Although it has been taken to terrible places
Yeah, it's become
in
like
her
a
name.
weird fetish thing, and I'm generally not for people putting like weird fetish things into
Yeah,
their
and
writing. Like that's fan fiction.
I feel
Okay.
like a sexual attraction to vampires is also very immature. Um, it to me it comes across as like, oh, I want to live forever and everything will be great. Um, it feels really immature to me. I think a more mature way to feel is to maybe like not be sexually attracted to fictional monsters, but like that's me. So
Hmm. Well, vampires are inherently pretty sexual in a way. I think that's sort of like it always has been.
they
Um,
didn't really start out like that though. Like
hmm.
I mean, they kind of started out as freakish wraiths that like murdered children. Like
Yeah, it varies across cultures because, like, even among European culture, you have different kinds of vampires. Like, like, and in The Witcher, you have the
are
Striga,
there
which
are
is
there Chinese vampires?
no, what we have zombies. They're like
Zombies?
the ones that go boing 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 boing. I'm not kidding. They jump. They're they're undead. The undead in Chinese mythology, they're like
Bunny's
it's because
arms?
because the rigor mortis, they like their limbs are all frozen, so they jump around, and usually they have their hands in front of them, and it originates from this myth
Wait, they
of
jump
like
around? Do they also jump up, and get down?
I don't get these references, Allie.
Okay, the chat gets it.
Okay, check it.
Yang Yan Zhao said if we're talking about vampires, we need some Toadies music playing. I agree, but she'd probably get struck. Be
Probably,
my angel. Yeah, we totally need some Toadies.
yeah, we would
Do
definitely
you
get.
wanna die?
No,
Fucking love
and
that song.
like the zombies in Chinese mythology are from I think like so people who had to like, medics and stuff who had to transfer corpses back to people's
Zhang
hometowns.
Shi.
Yeah,
Ew, did I
Jiangxi.
just speak commie? Blech.
No. The language only like the simplified version is commie speak. The language itself pre-existed before the commies, and
Oh, good.
the commies have corrupted it,
Teach
and
me how to speak not commie Chinese.
I will. Yeah,
Teach me
it's
your ways.
mostly the writing, but like the writing system is different. But yeah, in Taiwan we're not commies, and we don't speak commie speak. We use traditional characters, none of that new speak shit. That's what simplified Chinese is. It really is like 1984 new speak simplified language kind of shit.
Really?
Yeah, that's basically what it is, and I'm like they
Wow,
created
and I
it.
just thought I was just making a joke trying to be a dick, and I'm right. So that's how it is.
No, I mean, I guess like for they kind of coded it in this idea of well, we want to promote literacy, and I guess it worked, but at the same time, it's just I really don't like it because it waters down the language. If you know Chinese, like you have a lot of characters that have the same pronunciation, but you can, depending on like how you write it, it can mean completely different things because Chinese is a writing based language. And so like they just, instead of having like I don't know, ho is this character where if you write it one way it can mean like before, past, at, or after, or if you write another way it can mean queen. But in simplified Chinese it's all one character. I'm going to get off on a tangent about language because I love languages, but so basically they water down the language, and I just think it's like weird commie shit, and I don't like it. All right, I'll stop. But yeah, you get the idea. I forgot what we were talking about. We were talking about
Well, Spider Guy said that you and I are like yin and yang, so that's nice.
Are we? Oh, because I'm
He said
chipper.
yang, but I think it's yin, right?
Yin, yeah, yin yang. That's
Ooh, say that
yin yang.
again.
Yin yang. I'm just making noises, guys.
Hey, Sugar Chris is here. Welcome.
So Sugar Chris, yo,
Everybody
Attica.
go check out Sugar Chris's channel. He has a show and he likes to dress up like a girl on it. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah. He dresses up in red dresses and does runs. It's so much fun. Oh, he talks
Dude,
about
that's
comics
great.
sometimes too. I love you,
Does
Chris.
he? Oh wow.
Yeah, sometimes he does.
Don't go watch it then.
We're terrible. We're too sympathetic towards the monsters. I think again, it really is sort of this weird fetishization of monsters that has happened in our culture, and like vampires, for example, in ancient, there's just a lot of undead creatures. I think undead things are because a lot of monsters in mythology all across the world, they're part of cautionary tales, right? It's like to teach people to not do this thing, not go this place, not be immoral, or the monster will get you, and that's where a lot of it comes from. And just like a lot of and vampires and stuff like that, or the undead, probably come from this idea of how like I wonder if it comes from how a lot of people used to be buried before they were actually dead. Like how in medieval times you have a lot of people
Oh
where
yeah.
they wouldn't be able to tell if someone's actually dead, so they just like bury them at all these like coffins that have been dug up and there are scratch marks inside. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. So I think, or there are people who are buried and they just like dig themselves out of their graves and they walk home, and that used to happen before modern medicine, and that might be part of it as well.
Well,
But undead
yeah.
things are just scary naturally. So.
It also came from like a misunderstanding on just straight up like what happened after death too, because it's like when you dig someone up, they didn't know that when you dig someone up and their nails look like they grew, their nails didn't actually grow. It's
Yeah.
just like their I think it's something about how like their moisture leaves their body or something, so their skin like dries and pulls back a little.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that. But it comes from a misunderstanding of that.
Yeah, and how
Partially,
like
I'm sure it's a lot of things, but also like humans all over the world just have all these very similar like innate fears that are just, I was gonna say supernatural. But like they are natural to us for some reason. Like one time I was watching one of those shows that's about, oh, these are crazy things that have happened throughout human history and time, and it did an episode about fuck, oh my god, I can't remember words tonight. What's the night terror thing?
What? Night terror thing?
Yeah, where you like wake up and you feel like you can't move and you're frozen and you feel like something's sitting on your, like a demon is sitting on you.
Paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, yeah.
Yeah.
They were doing a thing about sleep paralysis demons, and I was sitting there watching it, and I remember my mouth was like, because years beforehand, I had that happen. Like, before, I'd never heard of it before anything. Thank you, Alex Verb, and John, and Maromi, and
everybody's typing it in chat now.
Yeah. So I'm watching it, and they're like describing exactly what happened to me, where I was in a room that I had never slept in before that felt really weird. It
Mhm.
was one of those rooms that like goes like that. That's in the top of like an older house. Um,
Mm. Mhm.
and that is like shorter. And
Mhm.
I woke up and I couldn't breathe, and it felt like somebody was pressing down on my chest. And above me, standing above me, I saw this black like figure with like
Ugh.
spikes all over its body sticking out, and I
Ugh.
couldn't move at all. And I
Uh-huh.
couldn't. I had never been more terrified in my life, and I had
Uh-huh.
to. And I was only 17.
Uh-huh.
And like pushing. Thank you, Alex. Pushing like myself to move and get out and like crawl was one of the hardest things I had to do. And I never went back up in that attic again. And I never actually babysat for that person again because I was
That
so freaking afraid of that house from then on. But but I never explained it. I was like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if demons are real. Like, I don't know. But
yeah.
then, flash forward, well, it had to have been like, I don't know, 14, not 14, like 12 years later or something. And I'm watching this thing and they're talking about it and they're like, and it happened here in this culture and also over here. It was like from China to Africa to Europe to South America, like people, mostly women, experienced this sleep paralysis demon thing. And I was like, wow, it's crazy that, human psychology just has these specific monstrous things that freak us all out throughout time, no matter what.
Yeah, that's what a lot of like the whole succubus or incubus sort of things and a lot of other demons come from. It's just I'm not sure what the exact explanation for sleep paralysis is, but it's something to do with like the I don't know where like the demon visions come from, but the not being able to move is like how your brain releases chemicals to
Yeah.
basically paralyze your body when you're asleep. But sometimes there's like you wake up, but the chemicals don't go away, and it just causes some kind of like fuck up in your brain where you see like horrifying shit in the shadows
Yeah,
as well. That
waking
sucks.
it's like a waking nightmare.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
god,
what it
that's
is.
terrifying. Yeah, and I've seen like depictions of it in art and I've seen it a couple times in anime as well. And it's horrifying. It looks like this monster is coming from it. But yeah, that's what a lot of these like stories come from as well. What makes a compelling monster? I think I answered that. I think just it has to like mm, something I would try to come with something unexpected and original, but more than anything, it has to actually be scary, not just like it looks scary or it's really strong and stuff. It has to like do something else, like something like what tying into what Ali was saying. Well, what if the monster paralyzes you, or what if it's you can never see it coming, or what if like something is unknown about its nature. That's what I really like about it. I think that's why Lovecraft works so well, is because Lovecraft's monsters are just sort of this unknowable. Like he does cosmic horror. That's what he does cosmic horror really well. And like when you have a when you don't reveal everything about a monster, I think it almost makes it more scary because it leaves so much to the imagination. Like think of Jaws, think of Aliens, that they do that really well because when you see it minimally, like it's almost the hint or the possibility of it is more terrifying. And I would approach like monster abilities in the same way.
Well, oops. Scootran, I think. Scootran says, is it best to base monsters on primal fears? I think yeah. Yeah, it is. Um just because those work the best, you know. Those are the things that are going to be scary.
Witcher 3 was really good, yeah. Matt Barr! So, monsters are fun. They
That
are fun.
bar.
Hey! Hello, Yvonne. Hexed Savage is in the chat. As a play on the Uncanny Valley and that spectrum of familiar monsters. Right. I think, and I ran into this problem with the demons in my book where I wanted to make them. At first, I tried to make them like so different than sort of like any animal or human shape. They like I had a first few drafts of them where I don't know if I have any. I don't have the drawings near me, but they were like they had like no legs. They were just like these slugs and balls of tentacles, and I'm like, yeah, that's scary. But honestly, I think what's even more terrifying to regular people is something that's just a little bit human, and that really puts us off
That
because
is definitely scarier because it's like
it's
that could
like the
happen to me.
Like the Wendigo. Like that's why it's just like how all these Wendigo stories of deer and wolves who like they just there's something wrong with it. It's like it just sounds weird or it just walks weird and it approaches you in the shadows and it just stands up and starts walking on two legs like a human.
Hmm.
That's fucking terrifying, right? Because it's a little human and it's off. It's unnatural. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, the scariest monster is the human mind, really. Like the shit that we
that's
can
true.
do, man, to our fellow man. That's really the scariest thing.
That's deep, yo.
Totally deep.
Yeah,
I'm
that's true
14 and
though.
this is deep. Mer.
I mean, it's true though. People are so fucked up. Oh, I'm way behind in chat. All right, let me catch up. Like monsters with a personality. Yeah. Like when monsters some exaggerated aspect of human nature. Yeah, that's a good point. Makes it more realistic, even when fantastic. Well, designs of Lovecrafts are cool, but the ignoble nature is boring. I think the ignoble nature is done really well in Lovecraft. It's part of why his fantasy works so well. It depends. Maybe everyone has different preferences, but I think it's best to sort of the you can create a monster based on an exaggerated aspect or of human nature, or your monster itself can bring out that part of human nature that your story is exploring. I think that's more the point. So it can work both ways, but what's more important to like your actual plot is like again the monster should tie into what your story is about.
Apparently, the etymology of the word monster comes from an old French monstre that means a malformed animal or human or a creature afflicted with a birth defect. So, literally, what we're talking about.
Mm,
So, that's cool.
that is cool.
Um, Apparently, it was also from the Latin monstrum, which meant a divine omen, especially one indicating misfortune. So,
Hmm.
like bad portents,
Yeah,
things that have abnormal shapes.
I
Um,
like that. I love word etymologies. It's
it was
awesome.
also apparently a derivative of moner, which was to remind or bring to one's recollection. So, just what we're talking about, things that humanity could use. You mentioned it briefly a minute ago, but like things that humanity can use as a moral tale or, a watch out if you do this thing. Cause, like, yeah, wow.
I think it works best when the monsters in your story represent something like, and they're not just scary as well, and it's not just their abilities are original and what that's all good. That's very good to have, but like they think about what theme they represent, right? Do they represent um and don't be too on the nose in your writing about it, of course, but you have to know as a writer what they represent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they just represent fear and how we are you exploring how you respond to people respond to fear, or are they like a manifestation of hatred, for example, or of vengeance or of regret? There are a lot of monsters of like in a lot of cultures there are monsters that are grow from dead children, for example, or like aborted or miscarried babies, and I think that's the manifestation of regret in human psychology. So that's really interesting, and I think it works best when you tie that theme into your writing.
Uh,
uh
well,
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna answer the question that you had up.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna read it first. The
Okay.
Ginger Ninja. What are some of the most memorable, frightening monsters from entertainment in everyone's opinion? Good question. Go ahead.
Um, I think probably I don't even know if Rainey will know, but Gamork from the Neverending Story. will always and forever stick in my mind. I'm guessing you don't know. Okay, Gamork is basically this like giant wolf that is working for a uh, an sort of an unnamed entity that is destroying human memory. Um, and all
Mm.
things like fictional that bring like joy.
Ooh.
Uh, and you know, the kid who has to fight him asks him, you know, like why, and he says because when people lose their hopes and forget their dreams, they're easy to control, and whoever
Mhm.
has the control has the power. And that like it was really scary when I was a kid because the animatronic that they used, because this was the 80s, the animatronic they used is like really crazy and intense, but it also stuck with me as like a moral lesson, you know. So
Mm.
whenever anyone tries to do anything that like it helps me to sort of question from the future, like why is somebody doing this, and it's like why are the woke left doing what they do, you know. It's to strip everything down, break everything down, make it meaningless so that it makes everyone hopeless so we're easy to control. And that was like, and I mean, The Neverending Story is a movie that was based on this old German book, but it has the same monster in it, um, and the same like idea in the book as in the movie as in the book.
Mhm.
Um, so that sort of monster that is so like scary that it sticks in your mind as a kid and as an adult, that taught you something, you know, so it resonates so that you've learned something. Because really, monsters, you know, in folklore, like we were just saying, that's what they were for. You know, it was something that it could, you could tell a kid, they would remember it because it's fear, right?
Mhm.
And that fear would make them, you know, remember, okay, don't talk to strangers because they could be a witch who will eat me alive. Like that kind of stuff. Like, so it's the same thing, you know, it plays on the, you know, that that thing where it's like, what are my primal fears? We use it as, you know, a tool to teach kids or people, you know, this is what to avoid or this is what you should do.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not gonna. I would have probably said Frankenstein's monster um, is a memorable monster, but I kind of don't consider him to be a monster anymore. But that's like a whole other anti-feminist rant that I could easily go on.
He's monstrous, but he's quite human, really. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, I think. I think there's like a bit of a gradient, right, too. Is
Mm-hmm.
something like just monstrous versus an actual monster. I don't know.
What well
Philosophical questions and
what are
shit.
your favorite monsters from literature or entertainment?
Okay, of course I'm gonna bring up Berserk, but I want
Do
to.
it.
Yeah, I want to. I would pick the God Hand, just like the entire God Hand in Berserk. So the God Hand in Berserk is the set of there are well at the start of the story there are four entities and spoilers. The main villain sacrifice makes a huge sacrifice of like a bunch of people who were his former friends to become the fifth God Hand, and it's like they like the god hand exists in this like alternate dimensional space. It's a little bit like Hellraiser, a little Lovecraftian, with a lot more tentacle monsters surrounding it and shit. And they exist in this like alternate dimension of this hellish landscape where and they like stand atop this giant hand and dark hand and shit. And so what they are is they're just actually it's not super clear what they are. It's hinted at, but they what we know is they're obviously powerful supernatural beings, and they're basically like demon lords. And these are people who have made huge sacrifices to become like these powerful godlike beings, and basically they had to like sacrifice the thing they loved the most and killed a bunch of people and shit. And I like their designs are. Oh, I have to show. Let me pull it. I just really like the designs because they're just so unnerving, and they each kind of. I like how Mira hints at what each one stands for, but he's not just completely on the nose about it. It's like there's a one female one
Do you
who's
like
like,
let you figure it out?
huh?
Do you let like you the reader figure it out?
Yeah, you let the reader kind of interpret it, and all of them are like, there's this one guy who his like eyes and mouth are sewn shut, and his brain is exposed, and his skull is pulled back, and it's all the shit where it's like, I think it's like these people. It's hinted at most of these people were like tortured in when they were alive, when they were human, but they went through so much shit and they made a huge sacrifice for vengeance. And then there's a couple we know nothing about, but there's most of what we know about is Femto, which is the main antagonist. But like and like but like Femto has this like weird armored design that's like weird armored sexual design, and he keeps this helmet he wore when he was tortured. And if you know the story of how he got there, he was like tortured and then he lost everything, and so he wanted vengeance. So it's so well done. Like the psychology is, it makes so much sense why he made that sacrifice, but you hate him so much. And it's like that's sort of so that's what the God Hand is. And what the way the world works, there are apostles, where there are these like, I'm just it's not trying to explain all of like berserk mythology, but anyways, like they're, I'm talking about just the God Hand, because they're most of the monsters, you have like just regular spirit monsters in the world of berserk as well, but the second, like the mid-tier antagonists are apostles. And apostles are humans who made a sacrifice using this like an item called it's a behelit. And there are different types of behellits. There's a kind of behelit that you have to make a larger sacrifice that makes you a God Hand member, but then you have like a normal, like a different, like a lesser behelit. And you can also make a sacrifice. You sacrifice your daughter or some crazy shit, fucked up shit like that, and then you become an apostle and you get your vengeance. But you basically sacrifice your soul, and you're condemned to like become this giant mass of suffering souls in hell and shit. And we actually see that. And there's this one scene where like all these like mass of like twisted souls come out of hell. And it's really early on in Berserk as well. It's so cool. Like the art is just so gnarly and cool. But
Did you
like
get
I
did you get a lot of your inspiration from that?
somewhat, but honestly, I don't really think what I'm doing is um I have a different take.
Oh no, I meant like did it inspire you to become an artist and do
Oh,
what you do?
oh no! I've always wanted to be. I've been wanting to be an artist since I was like 3 years old.
Oh, okay.
But
Never
but
mind.
but yeah. But
Shut up,
yeah, let
Allie.
me. No, no. Actually didn't read Berserk until I was in my 20s.
Oh,
Shockingly,
okay.
yeah.
Wait, real quick, I wanted to uh read Christopher Dominguez's question.
Hmm.
He said, "What are your thoughts on the artwork of HR?" I can never say his last name correctly, but all I have to do is say HR and everybody will know who we're talking about.
Yeah, Geiger.
Okay. Yeah. I have
Something.
thoughts, but what are your thoughts?
Blah, blah.
Just really
I
quick.
I like his designs. I like them. Yeah, they're memorable. I don't. So I think he has a very distinctive visual style. And he designed Alien and all this shit and a lot of other, like really well designed horror things. I think he's really good at just creating this kind of unnerving uh look, and he has a signature style. But other than that, not much, not like too many other opinions than that. I don't think he's like that edgy. It's just he makes cool designs of gross things.
Have you seen any of his like porn?
Oh, I haven't. Well, never mind. All right. I've only seen like his movie designs and shit. Never
Well,
mind. I didn't know about that.
he he didn't ask my opinion, but I'm gonna give it anyway. Sorry, Christopher. And I'm just gonna do it really quick so that you can go on to what you were saying about that and pull up what you wanted. But uh,
That's cool.
Mr. HR had like a huge issue with vaginas and like a problem with women, I think, and a a, a big thing that I think probably helped him was the fact that I don't think he went to therapy. He probably should have, but he channeled all of his like confusion and frustration into his artwork, and it got him a place in history. It made him money, so that's great, awesome. So all I'm saying is that there are some people who probably, instead of like writing tell-all novels and shit, should maybe like try other avenues.
That's an interesting take.
Anyway, go on.
No, no. You know what? That might be another clue to writing. If you especially want to write like horror stories and just don't go to therapy. Whatever your problems are, don't go to therapy. Just be a fucked up person and put your frustrations and anger into your writing and art, and then you'll be brilliant.
Well, maybe for some things, like maybe go to enough therapy to where like you can function in a healthy manner in society, but don't go enough to where you're totally fixed, because then your art's gonna suck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Literacy
like
devils in chat. What's up?
like how when singers like stop doing heroin, all their music starts sucking. Like maybe just like start taking more manageable amounts of heroin over time, so that your music keeps being good.
Yeah, just go to enough therapy so you're at least not like becoming a serial killer or anything. We're not endorsing that, but just
Yeah.
be
No.
maintained at a level of fucked up where you still create brilliant art, because
Yeah.
I think all artists need to be a little bit fucked up. Like there's why I don't understand. Like this is why it's so annoying with all this like the politically correct stuff. I think like brilliance comes from people who are kind of fucked up. Like
Yeah.
every artist has been either like there's this sort of like meme of artists classically having like depression issues, but it's not just that. A lot of them had like straight up psychological issues. Look at H.P. Lovecraft and look at Edgar Allan Poe, especially in the horror genre. And you just need to have some fucking
Oh my god.
problems. And I think that's like that kind of those faults and that like in a way that sensitivity and in that way that that doubt and whatever plagues the human mind, when you channel that into art, that creates like that opens a window into like how other people can see the world. That's really interesting, and you say something about the human psyche. So it's just, a little fucked up, just a little bit. All right, let's look at pretty pictures of the God Hand. There you go. This is what I'm talking about.
All right. Show it.
Yeah. So
What do we got?
this is I think this is the previous God Hand. These are the old ones. Yeah.
I like the
So
black and white. You're
yeah, I
right.
don't
That
even.
is really cool art.
Yeah, it's really cool art. These are like the old God Hand. These are the current ones in the like modern timeline of the
That
story.
like
But
Maleficent like pineapple lady is kind of interesting.
yeah, with titties all over her.
Oh, with those titties. So
Oh yeah, it's Berserk. Those are titties.
okay.
this
I don't
this
know.
guy is the only one who's in the current timeline still, and he's the guy with like the brain popping out and shit. And
I don't
so
know. Yeah, Matt Kevlar says the POV is cool. I don't know anything at all about Berserk whatsoever.
it's about basically a 6'4" swordsman wielding an 8 foot
Oh, that's
long
why you like
sword.
it.
Yeah. Giant man wielding giant sword. No. Well, what? Well, it's just
Tell me
fun.
more about this man who's over 6 foot.
Yes, dark giant warrior who wields a giant sword. But well, what really makes it
Is
stand
that the
out
real
is
reason that you left Asia?
yeah, totally. Oh,
Knew
ow,
it.
me. Oh, it's so politically incorrect.
Well,
Um,
that was barely like I've said worse. Come on.
it is. I really don't give a shit on but like with oh, somebody in chat brought up Claymore. Yeah, Claymore as well. There's so much good anime with like awesome monsters. But what really makes Berserk stand out, it's not super obvious at first, but once you read a little more into it, the thing is the main character's name is Guts, this giant swordsman guy, right? And like it's the story is really dark and there's like really awesome art and a horrible imagery and shit, but what I really like about it is that the main character, he's not just he's so three-dimensional. He's not just he's on a quest for vengeance against this guy who sacrificed all these people and to become a member of the God Hand. And but like so Femto is what, like the fifth current God Hand is the main antagonist of the story, but like you, it's like I said, you hate him so much, but you understand why he did this, and at the same time, you understand why Guts hates him. It's just totally justifiable, and it's not one of those like, well, he's a sympathetic villain. No, 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 he's a horrible person. But you can.
Whoa.
That's not. That's
Is
not.
that
Yeah,
that looks like it's from Mars Attacks.
yeah. That's the guy. That's the guy.
What, really?
So, huh? No, it's not. It's not from. It's not from Mars Attacks. That's
Oh,
the.
okay. I was gonna
That
say, wow.
no,
What a shock. You got a super chat, by the way.
that's Void. Oh, hold on. I have a couple of super chats. I'm scrolling down. Give me a second, guys. I'm
It's all right.
multitasking. It's too much. Too much.
She's good. It's all right.
Okay. Barbara Rogers was Solitaire for Canadian 10. Thank you. Sorry for being weird here, but I can be weirder. So here's that. Anyways, heart. Thank you, Barbara Rogers. You're not being weird. We're the ones that are weird. So it's
Weird.
okay. Yeah. Have you seen our show? Like, do you think being weird is a problem? Please. Please.
This must
Tyler
be your
Press.
first time.
Yeah, this is the first time. I know it's not. Barbara's always in the chat.
I remember my
Tyler,
first day.
uh,
What?
what?
Tyler Preston, $2.
Tyler Preston for 2. Speaking of Berserk, your thoughts on Devilman, Renie? I like it. In my mind, it's kind of like a pre-Berserk. But the thing is, once you've read Devilman, so many other things in anime are inspired by it. You know, that like giant massacre at the end and the demonic imagery. But I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah. By Rogers, Miss Solitaire for another Canadian 5. Thank you. With a super sticker. Thank
Yeah.
you. Geiger. Geiger. Yes.
Okay. Now I know how to pronounce it. Thank you, Michael T. Thank you, MT. You
exactly.
friggin' king.
That's exactly how I pronounce it. Paul Taylor for Canadian 10. Thank you. Did you ever watch a show from 1970s called Cold Shack? I didn't. If you anything that starts with "Did you ever watch a show?" the answer is usually no for me.
The answer is most likely probably not.
Yeah. Called Cold Shack the Night Stalker with Darren McGavin. He was a newspaperman who hunted monsters on the side. Pretty cool show. Interesting.
Wait. I know how to pronounce it. Hold on. I'll show you. HR. I did it. I finally figured it out.
You did. That was just a Wookiee sound. I don't even know what that is. I haven't seen that Paul Taylor, but I like that idea.
That was just a Wookiee sound. The most retarded Wookiee.
Yeah, pretty much Berserk is the story of a guy who's too angry to die in a horrible world. There you go. Exactly. I love stories like that. That's also why I love God of War. It's like, it's so epic. And
so wait, you want a story about a manly man?
Yes.
What? You mean you don't want a story about a soy boy with a micro penis?
Shockingly, weird. No, I don't think that's what I want.
What? No,
that's
all of the feminists have steered me wrong.
Yeah,
looking at you, fucking Velma.
I'm so sorry. They brainwash you to want main character guys who are just, they need to be an ally. They need to be caring, and they need to like bow and apologize all the time. Yeah, that's totally what we want. Not
that is truly monstrous.
I love like fucking super macho stories and shit just because it's so epic, and usually it's just like, well, with stories like God of War and Berserk, especially with the newer God of War games, like the development they made with Kratos was so cool. With how, and that God of War is interesting because it's portrayed over and over again how, like, well, Kratos was this monster, and like he's struggling and with, like, well, the sins of his past, and like he used to be like a horrible person, and he used to just fight for vengeance, but he's trying to change and it doesn't always work, and like that's so well done. And Guts is similar in many, many ways, except he's just a normal fucking human trying to avenge himself and his woman, and he's done terrible things. Like, he's killed people who don't deserve to be killed. He gets stuck in a sort of like the gray zone of morality a lot, just like The Witcher, and The Witcher as well. It's like the main character in a monstrous one and all this stuff, because The Witcher is
And
like kind
that
of a
that's
monster.
Egg Beater too.
There
Doing
you
the same
go.
thing.
That's Egg Beater as well.
I don't think you wanna like date Egg Beater, but like, he's doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, you can, the kind of the slurping and the disfigured face is a little put off,
Can I give him your number?
but I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Snafu said a joke though. He said, "What did the mermaid wear to math class?"
What?
Snafu, he said a joke. He said, "What did the mermaid wear to math class?" Don't look for it. I want you to hear the joke when I tell it.
Okay, I don't know.
An algebra.
I hate everything. I'm ending this stream right now. I'm done. You want to send me a sack of American
No
movies?
way. Snafu knows that I have a weakness for bad jokes. I'm sorry.
I have a hatred for bad jokes.
Here, wait. Let me make it up to you.
Boy,
Okay.
oh
Okay.
boy, you're canceled. Yeah. What?
Let me make it up. Knock
Yeah.
knock.
Who's there?
I'll say.
Okay, go away. I'm tired of this.
No, say it.
Go away! I'm not
Say
taking
it.
listeners. Fuck off.
Say my joke.
Okay, fine. What did you say? Let's start over.
Knock knock.
Fuck's there.
I'll say.
I'll say who.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, all right. Let's move on, please.
Okay,
Please,
continue.
I beg you.
Do it.
Blue boy, you're canceled. We're like pregnant Joker. This is going to suck, isn't it? Well, not our stories. Back Fiendish and sign up for Egg Beater now. No, thank you. Hutzel agrees with me. Boo. Oh, okay. Snap. Okay.
Why is the chat embarrassed? That's the funniest joke that's ever been told. I don't care who you are.
I'm suffering. Somebody ask an on-topic question so we can.
Berserk, you were talking about this thing. What is this thing with the boobs?
This is Void. Well, those aren't. Well, they look like boobs, but this is Void. He's one of the God Hand. Yeah. So actually, there's like sort of a hint that he came from the same time as the Skull Knight in the story. So the Skull Knight, it's sort of hinted that the story between Void and Skull Knight is kind of like what happened between Guts and Femto, and what's happening right now is a replay of what happened. And the Skull Knight it's hinted at being Caesar, which was like this historical king who died in the lore. I'm spoiling everything about Berserk, but anyways, so yeah, he's just a member of the God Hand, but he's not the main villain of the story. Oh, here's a.
Wait, so Richard Kale is. I'm not alone because Richard Kale noticed the Mars attacks thing too, so I'm not alone. Okay. John asked a question: how close to a human can a monster be and still be a monster?
I'm just gonna keep this on screen because it looks cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah. Read Berserk, everybody. It's fucking amazing. Let me pull it up on screen. How close can a monster be to be human and still be a monster? Can a monster be and still be a monster? Well, a monster can fully be human. I think part of what makes a monster it's like how someone mentioned in Frankenstein, the real monster is the doctor, right? So um, it's more.
I'm not laughing at you. John Lee said,
I
whenever
know.
someone invites me to Tiananmen Square, I always say no thanks.
Yeah, terrible. Oh, that was good though.
That's why I was laughing. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Um, hmm. This is a disaster.
It's not a
Bad
disaster.
jokes. Bad jokes to stream. Um,
That
right.
joke was straight.
Well, a monster could be a straight up human. I think it's sort of like it's not so much in its design. I think we started out talking about supernatural monsters and just like creatures. So like in English, there isn't really a differentiation between like monster as in monstrous in behavior or monster as in physically monstrous form. I think in Chinese you would differentiate that. It's like 怪物 or 怪兽 would be monster in like a monstrous form. And when you describe like a human or a character, you use different words, but English doesn't differentiate that. So I think we can talk about both because I think there sometimes it's like the differentiation isn't that it doesn't have to be that clear because you can have like it's really more about behavior and the effect the being has on your story that really defines if it's a monster and whatever your story needs like if you want cool visuals and if your the plot would and the storytelling would work better if you have like cool monster designs like here and berserk and shit then go for it but like we were saying that the part of like what's unnerving about monsters is they have to have a little bit of innate humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So like there's plenty terrifying about a character who appears like a normal human, especially characters who it's like serial killers and psychopaths and how they're really charming and they seem so normal but like the shit they do to people and the way to manipulate everyone and just how they got away with so long that's monstrous as well and that happens in real life.
Oh, yeah. uh, Scootran asked, who is the best Universal monster? I'm not really even sure Rainey will have seen all of the Universal monster movies. I guess it depends on how far back you go. I think Universal monster is our monsters are just Dracula, Frankenstein, uh, freaking the Mummy, the Invisible Man, maybe Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I don't know. I should know this because I go to Universal all the time, and I went through the Universal Monsters thing last year, but haunted house. But I mean, have you even seen any of those movies?
No.
Like going back through like from like the 60s?
No.
Okay. Snafu says the Invisible Man is the best. I liked the new Invisible Man. That one was good. Like, I was worried it was gonna be all weird and feminist, but it actually worked in that like context.
Hmm. Hustle asks, do you think there are any good modern monsters? But
Good
yeah.
modern monsters.
Well, what do you mean by good, Hustle? As in well done? Because we do have a lot of media that's just like shit now. So, or do you mean like
Rainy's
what?
monsters are good modern monsters.
Thank you. I do think. Well, I haven't revealed that much about them. I think they're really cool, but I hope like when their origins and their full abilities are revealed, it would people would like it.
That was a
Um,
shameless shill.
Thanks. Back my book, Fiendish, fiendishcomic.com, everybody. Woo! Yeah.
I backed it.
Thank you. Oh. I think, yeah, with I love like super fucked up dark shit like Berserk and whatever, but I think with even I would classify Fiendish as dark-ish fantasy, but I'm really not. It's like I don't set out trying to just be edgy and dark and like just. I think when you set out to do that, it's disingenuous, and you end up doing shit like I don't know, just all those fantasy shows that want to copy Game of Thrones because, well, tits and blood worked in Game of Thrones, so let's just throw tits and blood in our fantasy. Like it has to be genuine. So I think,
You mean like freaking every fantasy show that's out right now?
yeah, basically, yeah, it's all that's why everything's horrible. On
How
top
they're
of
like
oh,
indistinguishable from one another?
they all look the same. They're all like they all look like cheap costumes. On top of the bad writing, but just the visuals all look the same. Everybody looks like they're wearing a bunch of rags and they're all ambiguously diverse. They look like they're just walking down the street in LA. It's insufferable. I hate everything about modern
Well,
fantasy.
yeah, and they all talk like friggin' millennials. Like, I think in I can't remember if it was in The Witcher or in Willow, but one of the characters straight up says "bruh." And it's like, no, stop that, stop that
Oh
right now.
gosh. Yeah, I honestly this is off topic, but I struggle a bit with this because um like I don't really want to write in like fantasy speak, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I make a point of not wanting to do that. I want to write fantasy that's very accessible to like a normal reader, and I also just don't think I'm very good at it, and I know my strengths
Know
and
your limits.
weaknesses. You're right, but I think the what really, and I've had people say that it throws them off at first because in Fiendish I kind of use like people just speak very vernacular English, but it's like you have to what I will do is I'm not going to use like modern terms, right? Like
Yeah,
characters will say douchebag probably, but they're not going to you say like bro, or they're not going to say like obviously they're not going to say like computing. Like why would somebody in that world know what the fuck that means? So
yeah.
it's like a fine line,
Or
but
say any like millennial slang whatsoever, like the Y
no, no,
word,
no, no, no,
stuff
no,
like
no.
that.
Yo or stuff like that. I'm not gonna like use sort of like that's too modern almost. But I
Yeah.
just want but like sounding natural and sounding ultra modern is different. But right back to the question. Good monsters. I think Hutzel and sort of answered that monsters that people still respect in general is what he said. Um, hmm. What do you think? Do you think are there any monsters in modern fantasy that it's like people still respect them? I think Frankenstein is an interesting
um,
example, but then again, I don't think he's really the monster. He's just monstrous. He's like a sad character.
yeah.
He's a tragedy. He's a tragic character.
So this might this might be too. I don't know how much of the chat will have watched this, but in American Horror Story, which I know you probably will not have seen, but it's basically a horror series where every single season um, is like a different set of horror tropes. So, like, the first one is a haunted house, and it's like all this stuff that happens inside this haunted house. Um, and then, like, there's one that happens in like a haunted hotel and stuff. But in the one that happens at a carnival, there is a clown who scares the shit out of me. And he was done so well by this actor who normally does like kind of like soft and cuddly like dudes, just like that are silly and fun. But then there's this fucking clown who is kind of retarded, but all he wants is to like make kids happy. But they like make fun of him and they call him a pedophile. And it makes him really angry because he's like, I would never hurt a kid, but he's like retarded, kind of. So like he doesn't really know. Like all he wants to do is juggle or whatever, right? Well, he tries to kill himself, and when he fails though, but it shoots his whole fucking jaw off, and so he puts on this freaking mask. And now like he's silent, but like when he sort of talks, it's like this throaty gurgle. Like
Oh my.
it is the most terrifying. Like I don't have a clown thing, but like this freaking clown, dude. Like, he scares the shit out of me. Twisty the clown. Yes. Hyrule guy knew it. I freaking cannot handle it. I look away during all of his scenes because he's just too good. I would say that is a really good modern monster. The Praetor is asking what this is from. It's from Berserk.
Oh,
Um,
this is. I just figured I'd have this on screen because it looks cool.
yeah, and Al Dente said, "Fun fact: you can survive getting your jaw ripped off if you don't bleed out from the initial injury."
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and this guy is fucking horrific. Like, I can't even describe to you how terrifying that this guy is. He freaks me out. There's only two like monstrous creatures from, I think they're in like season 11 or something of American Horror Story, but that freaking clown dude, I cannot even handle it. It's so scary. People are
Yeah.
saying that it was scary. I didn't think that like Stephen King's It avec Tim Curry was actually scary because
Mm-hmm.
uh, watching Ferngully, which is what I grew up with as far as Tim Burton or Tim Curry, I mean, goes. Um, I just kept thinking about like Ferngully, so it. I didn't even know the word immersion as a kid, but it like ruined my immersion, so I wasn't really afraid.
Hmm.
I can show you a picture, probably, of Twisty the freaking clown. Maybe
Show
like, oh, that's
me.
terrifying. Twisty, show me what you got.
I'm getting carried away looking at
And like
berserk imagery.
he
Oh.
tries really hard to like uh to entertain people, but now that he's all like in pain constantly and fucked up and a little bit undead, he he gets really mad if you don't do what he wants and kills you. Like, he just fucking hatchets your face off, then you die. There, I'm sharing it.
Pretty fucked up. Let's see. Oh yeah, that there's something that is primally terrifying about like fucked up mouths. You know how like the mouth of Sauron from the movies, they how the mouth is all fucked up. They actually it's like prosthetics, but they it digitally enhanced his mouth to just be a little bigger than natural, and that's just so unnerving. And this is like more of that. You know how like having extra teeth and too many teeth is horrifying to people. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this definitely
Oh
taps.
yeah. I mean,
Oh
is that
boy,
why people were afraid of Freddie Mercury? Because he had extra teeth?
really? People are afraid of him?
I don't know.
Huh?
Somebody said, is it supposed to be a mask? So he cut off the bottom of another mask to cover up how he has like this fucked up shot off jaw.
Hmm.
So like he wears this hat thing and he cut it so you can still see his face. And then like that.
Yeah, that's plenty terrifying. Sorry, everybody in chat who has a clown thing. uh,
I'm trying to find a picture of
really?
him like with the mask off. Cause that's really the part that, okay, I found one here. I'll show it with the mask off because it's like they don't actually show it too often with the mask off because I think they wanted to make sure it was still scary. But like, here's what it looks like with the mask off.
Oh, joy. Let's see. Ah! Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, this is giving me ideas. I need to put more like fucked up mouth things in my monsters because that's gonna really scare people.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
uncomfortable, especially when he's trying to like talk, you know, but
Yeah.
he's just like,
Oh my god.
like it's friggin', and he's like he's
Oh.
breathing all crazy. It's fucking horrifying. And it's always worse when it's
Oh.
a comedian. Like when comedians play like horror creatures or comedians play serial killers, it's like 5 times as scary because you're like, no, I associate you with happiness and joy and love. Like freaking when Robin Williams played a serial killer. Not only
Mhm.
was that twice as scary because you're like, oh, cuddly Robin Williams. Robin Williams and my dad looked almost exactly alike. So like, I was like, Daddy, why? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, that is pretty terrifying.
Anyway,
Lee for 9.99. Thank you. For monsters, check out the Steins trilogy and sign up for the Steins Rise of the Vampires. All right, cool. Everybody go check out the Steins trilogy.
uh,
Herrenberg has a point. Medieval fantasy characters shouldn't be saying douchebag. I hear that a lot. Like if you're doing fantasy, then you should like use fantasy language. I kind of get it, but I kind of don't because I've seen it.
you don't think that the women in Fiendish know how to care for their vaginas?
What? I'm pretty sure they do.
Herrenberg, you
What?
don't think that they know how to douche in
Oh.
your world?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's not too modern. And the thing is also, I'm not doing medieval fantasy. It's just, it's an alternate universe that
Yeah, it's her
happens
own world.
to have, yeah, that's the whole point. I'm not basing my world on, you need to read a little more of it, but it's not based on our medieval society. It's nothing like medieval society. It's not feudalism. It's my own thing. It's not, it's just an older technological level. And there's actually like some stuff that's, it's weird because of magic, because magic exists, some things are more advanced than they would be in a, in like an in a world that had the same technological level as in our past,
Sort
you
of
know what
like
I mean?
the His Dark Materials series.
Yes, yeah. So it's its own thing. So I want to, like, I do debate about this, but I think I can do it right. Like I think I've like managed to walk that fine line. So drunk, forgot to switch. I'm sorry. John Lee for 5. Thank you. Would you guys consider Hannibal Lecter a monster or a hero? Hannibal Lecter?
A hero?
A hero? I don't know why I would consider him a hero. I don't think he's pretty
I mean,
monstrous.
he's not even like an anti-hero. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, I've read the books and I know in freaking Red Dragon, I believe he fucking spoilers, but he takes like several months to straight up hypnotize Starling into falling in love with him so that they can live together as like lovers and eat people together. So I'm gonna say he's like way not a hero.
Yeah.
I mean,
Think
as romantic as that is, I guess. Like what?
I really don't. That's so
That's a
romantic.
weird question.
Well, it's sort of like if you would say Dexter, or
He
then
helped
that
catch
you would
another
have a
serial killer.
point.
He did it for purely narcissistic reasons.
Selfish
Sorry.
reasons. Yeah, this is not an
Yeah.
altruistic person at all. I think like if you want to say Dexter, well, there's a point. That's kind of like an anti-hero, someone that's in a gray zone. No, like Hannibal
Was
Lecter
it
is
in Hannibal
definitely,
Lit Devil? Oh, okay. It might be. I don't know.
yeah, something like Hannibal Lecter or like any other like real actual psychopaths. It's like having a character as a villain as a main character doesn't mean they're the hero, right? There's a differentiation. I think it's really cool storytelling when it takes guts to make like a villain is a straight up evil person your main character, but that's just like it's just hmm that's just sort of like that's still classical storytelling. It's just told from a different perspective.
Yeah,
You
a
know what I mean?
monstrous person can do heroic things, but that doesn't make them a hero. Especially if their reasons for doing those things are selfish. A
Yeah,
hero, what defines a hero usually is selflessness.
usually, or at least not. At least do no harm.
Yeah, do no harm, or even like an uh I don't want to say an unwillingness, but like a non-eagerness. Like they're not over eager. You know, they're like, okay, I've been given this, like Spider-Man, responsibility. I've been given this responsibility, and now I have to, you know, do it responsibly. Or I've been given this power, excuse me, and now I have to utilize it responsibly. I can pick either way. Which way will I go? The hero picks the way that is heroic, and the monster or villain. But you can have a monster, I guess, who is a hero in a way. If you're looking at the term monster from like the old meaning, like Hunchback of Notre Dame would technically be called a monster, monstrous, but he's not a villain. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, like and we're saying that there's a differentiation between, well, monstrous as in form or monstrous as in character, and
Yeah,
those are
there
different
you
things.
go.
And I'm a little frustrated now, but after talking about this for a while, because like I wish there were different words in English to differentiate them. Like these are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the concept in like Chinese is separate, but and like also I know that's not what you're saying, but I also want to point out like a main characters or even just a hero of your story doesn't necessarily have to be like always righteous or always morally perfect. I think
No.
it's also I think it's interesting to have characters who start out with moral flaws and they grow to fill in those flaws, and maybe they're not even perfect at the end of the story, but the point is they're trying to be better, and they're it's sort of like this what heroes do is they form a model for how we can improve on ourselves, but a like I talk about this in like my D&D group a lot. Well, we're trying to define like, well, because in D&D and tabletop role playing, you characters have alignment. So your character is like chaotic neutral or chaotic good or lawful evil. There's like 9 of them. And so what is a good character and what is the evil character? Because you're gonna have a character that thinks they're doing good. And most people who are evil or that we would think are evil serial killers, they don't think they're doing evil. They probably
Right.
have an awareness that, yeah, everybody thinks that what I'm doing is evil, but they just don't care. They just really enjoy doing it. And a lot of evil people, like fucking Amber Heard, like they don't think they're doing evil at all. They think they're completely justified. And that comes a place of just so much selfishness that they
Yeah.
have no consideration for other people.
Pure
And
narcissism.
right. And then there's like complete altruism, which can be a character flaw as well. But I think that's it's more complicated than this. But a general definition, if you like, just starting out as a writer, probably I think would be, well, evil is like selfishness, and it's sort of the lack of consideration for others to like, and there's like a definitely a sliding scale of it. It's not just like there's 3, like you're either good, neutral, or evil, right? It's humans are complicated, but neutrality is kind of you're apathetic. You can go either way. You don't always care, but you're not trying to go around doing harm, or you're not like you're not actively like trying to sort of like not consider other people. You know what I mean? But then like yeah, I think that's a pretty good guide starting out at least, and then you can build on that and build a more complex character, because again, people are like weird in every situation. We react differently. Wolfler 199, thank you. Stay gold, pony boy.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't think she gets that reference either, but that's
I
okay.
I don't
I got it. It's all right, bro. I got you.
don't
I'm
get
here.
any.
I'm here to get all the references you don't.
Yeah, that's how this show works. I don't get anything.
And
Um,
Michael Deitch said
Dicha.
for Deitch, said for $5. Have you read The Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright? He says it's too disturbing to recommend, but characters monstrously evil, and the author freaked out after writing it. I wrote it down. I'm gonna read it. If I freak out, it's your fault. I'm gonna write down your name so people know.
I think you'll be fine, but I haven't read it either, but oh, check it out. Scoop trying a monster that makes your teeth fall would be terrifying. One bone fall and then roll around in your mouth. Oh, that's gross. Well, you can always get dentures, so modern
Have you ever
technology.
have you ever had like beyond what I was talking about with sleep paralysis? Have you ever had a nightmare about a monster?
No, actually, but I there's this one nightmare I had when I was really little that stuck with me, and I don't know why it was so vivid. I don't know what it came from. I think so. I grew up in Taiwan. This was around the time where there was like this really famous case like back in the 90s, crime was really not that bad in Taiwan, and still now it's not. Taiwan's a very safe country, but there was this huge case where a girl was kidnapped and raped and killed, and it was a celebrity's daughter, and it was like huge and shocking, of course, because it was a singer's daughter, but like it was this kind of thing didn't happen that much in Taiwan. And like so, and I was really little, and that's sort of when all the kids knew about it, and the parents were scaring the kids about it, and everybody was on high alert. It's sort of like don't play outside anymore kind of thing. It's probably what fueled it, but I had this nightmare of being stuck in a basement at the bottom of some stairs, and I just remember this like yellow dimly lit hallway of a really long staircase going up with yellow brick walls, and there was just a dark figure standing there. And I remember feeling I couldn't escape, and I was like being held hostage, and that just fucked me up. So I couldn't forget that my whole life. I was like 6 years old, and I still remember it. So I think like scary situations like that. I've had a few other nightmares about captivity, but not like monsters. So I think it's more the psychology of the situation that scares me.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, uh, I was pretty religious growing up, so most of my nightmares had to do with like this weird fear that I was gonna go to hell, like the Christian hell, and like I would have nightmares where I would be forced to watch like demon parades with all of the Disney characters. Um
Mm?
because I guess I thought Disney was gonna make me go to hell somehow. I don't know. I don't know. But when I was in 6th grade, so when I was 11, I had a nightmare where the devil wanted to kill me for some reason. And in dreams this stuff doesn't make sense, but like it makes sense in the dream.
Mhm.
So just yeah, anyway, how he did it was he possessed a guy who took these long scissors that we actually had these scissors. They were like this long, and they were like silver, really long silver with like this metal black handle. And I had them in my house. And in my dream, this guy takes these scissors, stabs himself through the head with them,
Hmm.
and like his brains like kind of squish around, and then he shoves his own arm through his skull, so it's like all the way through, so like the elbows inside his brain, so it's like that. um and then he uses the scissors to like chop off the arm like at the elbow, and then grows another arm, so now there's like an
Oh.
arm through his head, and that's how the devil was like controlling his brain. And
Huh.
then when he went out, like this freakish arm monster guy goes out to like recruit more arm zombies to like kill me. And that's how he does it. Every time he kills someone, he stabs them through the head, shoves his own arm through their head, cuts it off, and then like now there's a freaking another arm zombie. And so in my dream, all these arm head zombies are coming after me. And
Ellie,
that was
you're
the
fucked
scariest
up.
dream I ever had.
Oh, damn. Somebody in chat said this is woman talk. Well, we were asked. We didn't just start talking about our dreams for no fucking reason.
John said Allie had contact highs as a kid. That might be it. I mean, I was living in a meth house, so
Oh, boy.
who knows?
Oh, no.
IDAtor gave you $5.
Oh, thank you. I have a couple of super chats. Let me catch up. I'm just going to show more Berserk art on
Junji
screen.
Ito.
Junji Ito.
I don't know who that is.
It's a mangaka. I have some of his work right over there. He's a horror mangaka. I think he's really good at just creating these like unnerving situations. I think his work is unnerving, in a way. Like it's just it'll be like this weird situation. Well, I don't. For example, well, this girl will come home and like her mother is suddenly supplanted by a weird monster, and suddenly the monster starts duplicating faces, and then her house she can't escape her house for some reason. The house also was part of the monsters and under the monster's control, and then the monster starts taking over her body and shit like that. Like just very
Mhm.
strange situations. I think a lot of it is rooted in. I see this a lot in manga, like weird Japanese folklore about weird monsters, and just it doesn't necessarily has logical meaning, but
It seems like a lot of
it's
their monsters have really
scary.
big eyes. Do you think that means something?
I don't know.
No,
No, I don't
okay.
know. I was gonna say something really politically incorrect.
Oh, so now you're not gonna say it? Holy shit! This drawing of somebody that was it Junji Ito? This
Junji
looks like
Ito.
me.
He does. Yeah, he draws like these girls with like the bangs and dark hair and stuff, and
Yeah, this bitch looks
so
like me. This looks whoa. This looks like my avatar.
I love the art. So his art style suits horror so much.
Fuck,
Okay,
this is me.
let
Hold
me
up,
Google.
yo. Look at this. Tell me this isn't my avatar. Hold on. The fuck?
Ali just found her new OTP.
My what?
One true pairing, one true love.
I don't know what that means.
Oh,
Look at
it's
that.
yeah. See his what? Let me that yeah. There you go.
Look at. What the
It's you. It's you all along.
fuck? It was me all along. I was in the
Yes,
comic all along.
yes. It was you in the
It
comic.
looks it looks more like my let's see. There's my old one without my
Hmm.
glasses. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. His
Ah, it's me, everyone.
it is. He has like a really distinct art style. Um,
Anyway, sorry.
it should be.
I'll stop being obsessed with myself.
It's okay. You're allowed to be obsessed with yourself.
I'm not.
That's yeah. So weird. Like no, it's like I'm trying to pull up some of his art.
I looked it up. That's why I was looking at because I was like, oh, cool. Oh, Mark says that's the one everyone uses. Oh, I wasn't gonna use it. I have my face, but like that's cool.
Yeah, like it's just look at this shit, like this human snail thing, and it's just so weird and fucking gross. And it's more the art style that's scary. Like look at this.
I mean,
It's just
a woman with no legs is a human snail. So like, what?
but bum.
I
Like look
can
at
look
that.
at. John says you can look in the mirror later. No, do you know what's fucking hilarious? I have a mirror right in front of me that is in front of me when I chat. It's right here, right here. I put it
I
in
think
front of me so I can watch myself talk while I
I
stream.
think all women streamers have a mirror close by. I have my
It's
makeup mirror
I
right
can see myself.
here. Oh my
Now,
god.
most of the time I flip it up so I don't have to see myself. But it is right there. It's like right in front of me.
We care about how we look. Okay. But yeah, I
How
think
dare we care about how we look?
yeah.
We should just put
Okay.
beanies over our whole faces.
No, well then chat would not wanna. Well, I don't know. We have more to say than just our looks, guys. We have brains, but I know people like seeing us on camera. There's nothing wrong with that. I
Now I
think
gotta look up what tome is. I don't know what that is.
Tomoe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was just saying. It's fine. Yeah, it's you would really like Junji Ito's work. If you're gonna read manga, specifically you would like it. Yeah, look at his art. It's just really unnerving, weird art and weird situations. And
Okay. Well, I
I
like the
don't.
black and white. I love black and white.
Well, all of his work is black and white. I mean, it's manga, but just
Mm-hmm.
specifically the way he draws things and sort of like the hatching style really suits the horror genre. So um, yeah, like if you want like monster. So speaking of monsters that are human but just a little fucked up, he's really good at that. Like look at all this like that really plays on triple
Oh
threat.
no, holes. Ugh. Ah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Allie's weakness.
Nope.
That's not Junji Ito, is it? That's something
I don't
else.
like holes. Just like I don't like women.
That is.
You could say it's related.
Oh damn, that is Junji Ito. But yeah, so you should definitely check it out. I like his work. Um,
Okay,
Michael Dicha for
I
5.
will.
Have you read The Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright? Too disturbing to recommend, but characters monstrously evil. Poppy freaked out after writing it. Oh wow, huh?
Are you?
No, I
Are
haven't read it, but
I
thanks for
forget? Are you doing a black and white version of Fiendish, or is it just the black and white cover?
that. Right now, it's just a black and white cover.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I might do sort of a artist edition with just the inks in a separate campaign. But like originally the comic was going to be black and white. Then everybody was like they wanted it in color. I was like, I think it's fine black and white, but frankly, I think just the storytelling is easier with color because I can differentiate colors and I have like an extra tools to use. So it's fine, and I have really good colors. But
Oh, Scootran has a good question though.
yeah,
Yeah, what's the best monster that represents nature?
nature.
And he mentioned the corrupted boar from Princess Mononoke.
Ooh, oh, I see what you mean. I'll have
Yeah.
to think about it. You want to answer that? I'm just going to scroll through more awesome
Well,
Gingy.
honestly, that's probably what I would have said.
Yeah.
They've got to know that Princess Mononoke is like freaking a weakness of mine. I freaking love Princess Mononoke.
Look at this shit.
I can't even handle it. What is that? Is that walking cancer?
Yeah, pretty
So it's a
much.
feminist. That's
Yes.
horrific.
This is what all feminists look like when they're well. You see the hairballs from their cats. This is what they all look like now. After COVID, after they've been just like locked in the house for 3 years, the hair grows out and all the hairballs from the cats stick to them, and like the background is their apartment because they just don't clean their apartment, and it's
Oh
just
my god, why are
all
they
the
always so filthy?
all the like the fermented like hair and like all their like rotting pads and stuff, and of course like food wrappers, all this fungi grew out of their like waste. So this is the natural
Truth.
surroundings of a radical modern feminist.
Dude,
And
for
their
real.
nails grew out because of course they can't groom themselves.
Or they always have those like weird, hideous, freakishly long nails that it's like, why did you do that? Now you can't work. Like, come on.
I hate that. I mean, yeah. I never got that. It's so annoying. It seems like it's such a I don't know.
Tyler Preston said that's a perfect drawing of Kathleen Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
But Hutzel said don't insult this great art by comparing it to a feminist.
You're right. Yeah, I shouldn't insult Junji Ito like that. No, I'm serious. The nail thing just annoys me. I mean, I kind of get it. It looks pretty, but at the same time, it's like I like it in like music videos and shit. But like normal people, when you have nails like that, I just think you're spoiled as fuck. Because don't you have to do
Mm-hmm.
anything with your life? Like you don't have to do
Mm-hmm.
any housework. You don't have to like take care of any like you don't have to work. You don't have to type. How the fuck do you type with like 5 inch long nails? Anyways,
Yeah, Mark
it's just,
brings up a good point. How do they wipe their butt? I don't even want to know. I don't even want
I
to
don't
know.
want to. I don't want to. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Nope. Thank you. It just makes me think somebody's entitled. Oh, I
Or
already read that.
N30. Alex Verb said free bleeding is disgusting because somebody else said something about it. I did a video on free bleeders. It's on my channel. Enjoy. It's disgusting.
It's I already know they're discussing. I don't.
I did the math, let's say. Because
I have
some
no.
free bleeder tried to like yell at me, so I did some math with it.
I have no words. That shit's. Why do they think lack of hygiene is empowering? In fact,
Dude, exactly.
why do any of the things they think are empowering? Why do they think any of those things are empowering?
I think it's just like a weird desire to be lazy. Like sort of an opposite of Jungle Book. So like in
Right.
the original Jungle Book, right? The little boy, he grows up raised by animals being wild and carefree, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then he has to go and be a man, which means he must enter society. He must take a woman. Now he must start, wearing clothes and stop fraternizing with animals and stuff. It's like a really obvious growing up, coming of age story, right?
Mm-hmm.
feminism is like reverse Jungle Book for women, where it's like, okay,
You're right. They just want to devolve and become animals and not have any responsibility, and they think that's empowering.
exactly,
Right.
which is part of why I was so mad at the end of the live action Jungle Book, because in the remake that Disney just made, Mowgli does not re-enter society. He burns down the frickin' jungle and looks at like the village and decides he'd rather stay in the jungle forever. I was like, "Oh, so, let's just stay a man baby." Like that's what it is now. It's no longer a story about how, okay, at a certain point you must put away childish things and become a man. Like,
Mhm.
join society, be responsible. It's no longer about that. Now it's just go off and be silly and have no thoughts, carefree of any consequences or anything. Friggin' ridiculous. Thank you, Hex Savage. Yeah, and Mark says it's just pride and laziness. Exactly. You should not be proud of being lazy. And men, you should not be getting with a woman who is proud of being lazy. That's fucking disgusting and sad. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's to have some self-respect, like both. I think both ways. All both genders in modern society need to have some little more fucking self-respect. Like, don't
Yeah.
women don't settle for soy boys, and men don't settle for a crazy feminist that doesn't respect you and is just an entitled bitch. Like, fucking, you can do better. If we all demanded better, society would be a better place.
Yeah. And feminists are today's like real life true monsters.
This is like such an analogy I never thought of it before, but it makes so much sense. It's just about devolving responsibility, but responsibility is what makes us human, is what makes us better. It's not about, it's sort of like, and this is what a lot of postmodernists tend to do. They frame uh, anything that is doing your duty, anything that's like anything that's responsible, or like when anyone who's, I don't even think it's a conservative thing, but if you bring up why don't you like take responsibility for something, they just like are revolted by it, as if it's like you're trying to repress me. But it's not. Like, the whole point of it is you're not an adult until you have responsibilities. Responsibilities makes you stronger. It makes you a better person. You have, so when you have something larger than yourself to work for, like larger goals, or for most people, it's a family and people to take care of. It makes you better, and that's how we advance as humans. So we want you to be more respectable. I want you to contribute to society, and somehow that's oppression. Fucking fix your brains.
Yeah.
Stop being perpetual children. Ideator for 5. Thank you. I used to have nightmares about hell until I stopped believing in the afterlife. It's funny how our in-flight dreams are influenced by our beliefs. Interesting.
I still have nightmares, so. But I don't have nightmares about hell anymore, but I still have nightmares.
Mm. I don't really have. I just have weird dreams. I have very
I
weird dreams.
I have fewer nightmares than I did, but like I have dreams and I have nightmares. I
Hmm.
write in my sleep.
Oh, that must be nice. I never. Oh, yeah. Chad probably doesn't want us to talk about our dreams anymore. But no, I don't. I never. I don't dream about like my work. I don't dream about drawing. It's weird. I dream about traveling a lot. Anyways, Max Santiago for 2. Thank you. I read Berserk Volume 1 today. So good. Yes, Berserk is fucking amazing. Everybody go read it. I love this shit. Oh, speaking of, this is why I pulled this up. So we were talking about sympathetic, monstrous characters or something before, right? I was trying to find an image. Ganeshka. If you've read Berserk, Ganeshka is a really good example of that. Fuck, did I lose it? No, this is just more Junji Ito shit. Um, so hold on. Uh,
Thank you, Alex.
Berserk Ganishka. So, well, the thing with Berserk is a lot of the apostles. So these like demons who they were formerly humans, and like I mentioned with the Behelit, they make a huge sacrifice, and they sacrifice like a thing that they love, a person. This has to be a person or people that they love to become, to have like the power of a demon god. But Ganishka is really interesting because he what he did was he sort of like this apostle made apostle. He's like an artificially created one because he just wanted the power. So he created like a, without like an actual behelit. He captured a bunch of apostles and then made like artificially made beheld and made him put himself through it. It's weird and fantasy and shit and complicated, but somehow it works though. But this is him in the story, and he becomes this a giant like skyscraper size creature with this is then his head is up in the skies, up in the clouds and shit. But like it's interesting because I find him a little sympathetic in a way, also, but like because he's not sympathetic because he does such horrible things, but tragic is what I'd say. Like
Okay.
a lot of the apostles, because they start out as humans and they have this reason for making this sacrifice, and they're giving up on not just their humanity but their afterlife. They're condemned to hell, and but like the reasons they have for it are often really tragic. Like there's my favorite arc in Berserk is probably the Lost Children arc, and it's this arc where Guts comes across this town which is like suffering from all these like weird problems, but like he finds out that there's a this little girl, this little tiny girl, it's like an 11 or 12-year-old, and she sold her soul and became an apostle, and it's just because she has such a tragic life and she's trying to get out of it, and she ended up evil, but it's so tragic and so understandable.
Is
And
that like the Silent Hill movie? Is that where
I
they
haven't
got
seen that.
that?
I haven't seen that
Oh,
one.
that's sort of what happens in the Silent Hill movie, kind of. I don't know
Um,
about the game, but in the movie.
um, I
Uh,
actually I did see the movie. I don't remember it because I don't think it was really good.
I liked it. um,
Hmm.
if we were talking about monstrous characters who can be sympathetic or do good things or whatever, and we're talking about comics, Marv from Sin City, I think, is probably a good example. Um, he's like, his whole character is that he's like fucking horrific, but he's, taking his last, freaking breaths basically to avenge or save. I haven't read or seen it in a long time, but um, I would count him as one. Admiral Wacka says Marv rules. There you go. CG Sanchez sent you a super chat too.
Oh, okay. People are trashing on feminists in the chat. I endorse this.
Good.
They really level the playing field with attractive women by giving them bad advice. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, that's part of it too. Well, it's his whole idea about let's all lower society to like the lowest common denominator because everybody has to be equal, and that's what equality. But it's not equality. It's not equality in opportunity. It's not just equality under the law. In our modern society, they reframed equality as like as equity, and they want to force it, and they're not going to admit it because it's subversive and they're not honest about their intentions. And often I do have sympathy for a lot of people who think they're doing good. They think modern progressivism, which isn't really progressive. Like I have friends who are actual progressive, but like if the SJW types, they're not progressive at all. What they want to do is they want everybody to cater to become the lowest common denominator, and then everybody will be equal in that way. And I think feminism in its modern form specifically works in the same way, and I find it really disgusting. Like we should be striving for merit, and I'm sorry that people just aren't all born with equal capabilities. We should be equal under the law, but just we're all going to have different results, and that's fine. Like you're going to have to be okay with that. And it doesn't like if you end up with, I don't know, they're just sorry that women take time off to raise families, but there's nothing wrong with that. We have natural human differentiations, and not everything that is not completely equitable is caused by oppression.
Exactly.
But
Um,
thinking is hard, don't you know?
Feminism is also pretty evil because it's basically just working to create a slave class so that it can generate uh, basically sex slaves, but also more money.
It's so fucked up. I just watched like that Vice debate between Sydney Watson was there with a it was like some like crazy
Just a bunch of
feminists. And
crazy bitches. Yeah,
yeah,
we
it was
talked
a bunch
we
of
talked about
Sydney
it last
Watson.
night on my game show.
Right. Yeah. It was like a couple conservative women, and then Sydney's not really conservative, but she's just like talking logical sense, and then a couple of like crazy bitches that are like, well, everything is oppression, and then there's like just oppression everywhere, and it's like, well,
Oh, and they always do
it's
the as a
impossible.
black woman, as
Right.
a chicken nugget woman.
As
Like,
a disabled,
shut up.
tri-spirit, minority, indigenous woman, it's this weird cultish language where, and it's, I feel like I don't want to make fun of them, but they make no sense, and their ideology is bad for society. And
Super bad. It's super
right,
evil again too because it hurts children, which hurts
that too.
society in the long run.
That's the worst part. But like absolutely that's the worst part. But like the second worst part is it's all centered around being anti-meritocratic and lowering society down and weakening society. And we come to the point where they believe they're doing the right thing. I truly think they are, but they don't even see that it's cloaked in this language of we're going to fight for equality and we're doing the right thing. But again, just because someone says they're doing the right thing doesn't mean they are. Like, what, study the Cultural Revolution, study the Great Leap Forward, and even like look at how a lot of, and I'm not saying all religion is bad, but it's a fact that in any religion there have been people that have used religion to control people, and told people that, well, look at like the Salem witch trials and how they would just, it ended up being, I think like there are actually not that many women who are actually condemned. But this whole idea that, well, if you're just in a woman who somebody doesn't like, they can just accuse you of being a witch, and then it like everybody has this like fervor, like this religious fervor, and then they burn you at the stake or they execute you just because like they're all there. It's like this weird group think. That's what's happening now. This is religious fervor, and just
Hmm.
because the language is, well, we're doing the right thing and we're trying to better society. Well, that's what they were saying in the Cultural Revolution as well. That's what they were saying during like these witch trials. So just because they claim to have the moral high ground doesn't mean they actually are. You have to, it doesn't mean they actually do. You have to look at what effects they're having on people, and what the effect that woke culture has on society is not just weakening people and weakening their psychology and encouraging them to not better themselves, but it's just subverting everything in that is natural to us, and telling us that that's better. I don't know if I'm even making sense,
No,
but
you are.
it, yeah.
I was just having an idea of what we could talk about next week.
Oh yeah, what are we
Or
gonna talk
well,
about?
not next week, but like the week after next time.
Yeah.
Um oh, and EVS entered the chat, by the way.
Hey, hello, Ethan.
So what if next time we talked about like I don't even know if this will make sense because I didn't get to finish my thought in my head before I talked, so like I'll sound stupid, but whatever, who cares?
I can read
Uh
the super chat first. Hold
I,
on, I got this.
I was just gonna say, what if we talked about like good male characters and how to create them on the lines of how we were saying like we like manly characters and they don't make those anymore.
Right. Actually, yeah, we should do that. We should do an episode on good male characters, and then we should do an episode on good female characters.
Okay.
Because it really pisses me off how terrible all these female empowerment characters are. And I actually just saw this video. I forgot the channel's name, but somebody did a really great video comparing Eowyn and Galadriel in the Rings of Power show, and showing how Eowyn was actual exemplified feminine strength and why that was. and
Mm-hmm. I
and
think
it's
I know
just
what you're talking about.
right.
Was it European lore?
No, it was another
Okay.
channel, but European Lore is also a good channel. I watch them. But there's a few, there's a people, I mean, because Rings of Power is, everybody's talking about it now. A lot of people have been doing these comparisons and stuff, and like, because it's so obvious if you actually read Tolkien, how like his women are not weak. Like, his women are not, he doesn't neglect the women in his story. Just because
No.
like the core cast is all men doesn't mean the women are put down. That's not how fucking storytelling works. It's just because like there's part of how like the masculine um sort of like the masculine role in fantasy and mythology is is to be at the forefront, to be the one that's actually like putting their lives on the line and being
Exactly.
in the danger zone, and that's what masculine heroism is. And
And
but feminine,
that's what he was writing about. Tolkien, that's what he was
right, that's
writing
just
about.
what he was writing about, and
He was
there's
in the
nothing
freaking
wrong with
trenches. Like
there's
he
right.
held dying men in his hand and like understood like, you know, it's not this is another thing that pisses me off about modern literature is that like these people who are writing this modern stuff don't understand friendship is a thing. Not everybody wants to just fuck all the time.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
two
that's
dudes can
another
be
word.
friends, okay? You fucking weirdos.
Oh, definitely.
Degens. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah. I
Drives me
mean,
insane. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
there. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. It's kind of weird. It's like if male characters are friends, and suddenly it's like Robin and Superboy. Oh my god, don't get me started on that shit. Um, right. It will
Wait, hold on.
modern.
Hyrule guy is saying that I'm not CG though. Yes, I am.
Yeah, Ellie is.
It says it in my what? Why are you spreading
Ellie is.
rumors, Hyrule guy?
No, she is. Yeah.
What?
She's around
Yo, Marby
with
Dog said Galadriel is basically a god and still feminine. Absolutely. Even in the comic and the or not the comic, the cartoon and the original trilogy, not The Hobbit.
it really annoys me going back to a bit to feminism. Now it's like I don't care. This is the subject we're talking about now.
Anyway, yeah, I'll read the super
With
chat
the
from CG Santa.
hold on, I have a well. Let me finish my point. I'll catch up on super chats. So,
Sorry.
with the like with another thing that really annoys me about modern iteration of feminism. Obviously, it's not about equality anymore, but well, like it's a lot of people who want privileges. It's not they frame privileges as rights, but what they want are privileges. So you want to have the cushy, high-paying office job, but you're not complaining about having equal representation and oil like garbage disposal or oil rig workers and shit like that. But what I always say is if war broke out tomorrow or if the apocalypse happened, what do you think society would default to? What gender roles would we devolve back? What, like it's not even devolve would be because it's not like I don't think like well sort of it's not like an evolution to say that it's not like better to say that well like gender roles shouldn't be a thing anymore. I think people should just be free to do whatever they want, but naturally speaking we have different preferences. If the apocalypse happened tomorrow, you would have the men going out doing the fighting the zombies or whatever and doing the hunting, and women would have their role, and they're just as important, but there are natural fucking differences, and sometimes you have exceptions. You have like tomboys and shit, but like that doesn't mean all of it should be subverted. And like all these horrible writers and people who are misinterpreting Tolkien's work don't understand that Tolkien was a man of so much wisdom, and he didn't just understand, he wasn't just a good writer, he didn't just understand mythology, he lived a life, he went to war, he
Mm-hmm.
had lived so much more than any of these privileged Californian weirdos who think they know better, who think they have the wisdom to write this story Tolkien never wrote, that
Oh
they
my
know
god.
what he really wanted to say. They can speak for him, say that he would totally be a progressive today. No, the fuck he wouldn't. He was a traditional man. He was a man of great wisdom, and he was and for some reason, if you're like they don't want to face the fact that he was very religious and he was very traditional, and then that they want to frame that as evil, but it's completely not. He was a man of great merit, and he understood that the dichotomy between feminine heroism and masculine heroism. And so I find that stuff really interesting. And there's not enough people talking about how to write good female characters. I want good female characters. Like the female characters in Fiendish are very important, but they have this role that they're not subverting the male characters, and they're not putting people down. They don't have to put anyone down to make themselves better. Actually, I do have some female characters like that. They're the villains. They're antagonists. They're framed as horrible people, and it's hard to understand. It's a little, because it's not as forward, it's a little more subtle, it's a little more in the background to really understand how to write femininity right. But we need to talk about how to do that. Like, a lot of modern writers don't know how to handle that. So we should do that show. That's my point. Okay, I'm done.
We'll do
um
that show.
Adam Kember, I feel like I just like
CG Cento.
launched on half. That was like half of what I was already going to say in the show. Adam Kember for 10, thank you. In addition to an earlier statement, does the human mind invent monsters to keep itself in moral balance polarity, e.g. heroes have villains, humans stuck in the middle, Santa has Krampus, and so on? I think that's interesting. Yeah, probably. It's sort of like how I think it's kind of interesting how humans, we generally frame ourselves as like the average, as the middle, right? It's like, so we have heaven and hell, and our world is in the middle. And how even in fantasy, well, it's like elves and dwarves, they're like exaggerations of traits that we understand as humans, because from our perspective, we only understand our perspective. Like, it's really, it's, you can invent like a whole alien species, but even in a lot of like science fiction, which is just a subgenre of fantasy, really, the aliens are an exaggeration of certain trait that we understand from humanity, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just, we can't have any other perspective because we are human. So I think that is a natural part of it, and having like benevolent creatures, of benevolent spirits like Santa, for example, or like saints and gods and benevolent spirits in nature versus the evil ones, is a very natural thing that happens across all cultures.
Oh, Waylon Todd is saying that he likes when games you opened the case and you got a map. Guess what is gonna have a map, friends?
Hey!
She's gonna have a map, friends.
Yes, I will. Well, the what's cool is the Fiendish campaign just reached 150K, so the map is going to be printed on Canvas. So I'm super excited. So everybody go check it out. Thank you everybody
Oh,
who backed the campaign. And yeah, it's a giant map. It's 21 inches by 24 inches. I made this world map for Fiendish that a lot of people were asking for. So I listen to the audience. You give me feedback, and I listen. So I made a world map, and everybody who ordered it, it will now be printed on Canvas. And I'm really excited because I really wanted this.
that's gonna be cool.
I'm
Comic Book Bob said
excited.
we need more epic level female villains, women with terrible power and terrible resolve to use it. Wasn't that frickin' what was that bitch who was running Germany? Like some other Merkel.
Uh,
That's just
e-
real life, friends.
Eva something.
I don't know.
Oh
No,
man,
like a couple years ago.
Angela Merkel.
Mon- Angela Merkel, yes. That's it. That's just that's just
You know
a
this.
fancy way of saying Angela. Shut up, Germany. Fucking
Angela.
weirdos.
You know this. I've noticed this trend in fantasy of, it's like we have a lot of Daenerys ripoffs. Have you noticed that? How
Oh
in
my god.
Witcher Blood Origins, I think it's like they're oh, it's so stupid because Game of Thrones did Daenerys so badly. But in the books, I'm sure it'll turn out better. But because they rushed it in the TV show, it just made no fucking sense. But like everybody's ripping it off. Like, look at that queen in Blood Origins. She was a Daenerys ripoff, done even worse than Daenerys was done in Game of Thrones. It was horrible. It just made no sense. They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this like queen character, and she's like a young beautiful queen, but we're gonna trick people because she's actually evil. And it's like,
Yeah,
no,
I
we already
only
knew she was a horrible person from the start. Okay, and it's not that edgy. It's not shocking. It's fucking. She's also just a terribly done character. You're not inventing anything new. Fucking.
I didn't
I hate
watch
that show.
the I didn't watch the show, but I did watch like most of what I do now is I watch reviews of things now instead of watching the thing. And that character is like the worst person ever, but it seemed like toward the end they were wanting you to think that she was good. It was like, "Oh, you're supposed to like her now." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? She's awful. She literally killed everyone she loves and drove them away. What is this?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Ah. My
Yeah,
bangs are getting tired. Look at this. Fucking ridiculous.
it's your bangs are fine. Yeah, Tolkien historians say that's fuck Tolkien historians. They don't. It's like the fans. Of course, the fans have more of an understanding than all these people who claim to be historians. Because the thing is, like, these people who call themselves Tolkien scholars and shit, they have an agenda. They're using this for their own benefit. It's like they're using Tolkien for their own benefit. That's what I've realized. But the fans benefit nothing. They just genuinely love the stories. They understand his world. They understand his perspective. So listen to the fans. Listen to the fans. The fans know best, and the fans are
Yeah,
never
Neil
toxic.
Gaiman.
Like their
Yeah.
fans are passionate and they have opinions that you might disagree with, but the fans when they're angry about something, it's because they're passionate, it's because they care. And if you're gonna fucking adapt something, listen to the fans because they know better than fucking people who have their own agendas on the internet and or whatever, or they claim to have a degree about something. But at the end of the day, they just half of them are doing it for money. They want attention. They have other purposes as they're serving other than the work. But that's the only thing that matters is the work. It's a story. It's whether it's Tolkien or anything else, or like even an original TV show. What the only thing that matters is the story. It comes first. So stop listening to people that have some other kind of agenda. It's
Yep.
like the end.
And a big thing that that Amazon and those like idiot showrunners didn't understand is that there are people who fucking speak Elvish. Okay? Like that's how deep into this that people get, you know, Namarie. There are people who do this. So we know when you get it wrong because it's like a part of us. So why would you want to piss us off?
It's
Seriously? Are you stupid? Just like again, Neil Gaiman. Uh
Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman. It's
I'm
the same
so
thing. They're not listening to their fans. Nobody's gonna remember their shit as anything but terrible.
yeah, well, I just
But we listen
sometimes
to the
I
fans.
wonder. We do listen to the fans, so that's why we're here because we love you and we appreciate you. Unlike those fuckers, Michael Dietrich, you
And
said
we like our
Cameron.
stuff. Like that's another thing. These people will actively say, I don't really like games or I never really read comics. It's like, then why are you doing it? Like you should like the thing that you're
Right?
gonna
Oh
do.
my god, like the how the Last of Us. I mean, I'm not even surprised anymore. Like I already when they say they're going to adapt something and it's going to be a Netflix adaptation, I already know what it's going to be. Like I know they're going to not respect the source material. It's going to be full of ideology, and if anybody critiques them because the story is bad, they're going to call you sexist or racist just because they want to hide behind the shield of having like women or minorities in their
Yeah.
stories. And that's all it is, and it's really disgusting for women and minorities and all these other groups of people they claim to want to protect because they're just using them. That's what they're doing in Rings of Power. Like it's this terrible story, it's badly done, and all these actors, I feel sorry for them because as bad as they are at their jobs, they're just being used. They're being used, their careers will sink because they were in part of this horrible show,
Yeah.
and Amazon is just using them as a shield. So you care about minorities and women, then why do you use them for your own gain so much? Why do you always treat them like shit? And we're not that stupid. We're not dumb. You can't treat
Yeah.
us like shit, give us shit entertainment, shit role models, and tell us that we can't critique it, can't demand better. And if we do, then we have internalized misogyny. Go fuck yourself.
Well, and speaking of monsters too, like even the new Interview with the Vampire did that by just throwing in, oh, we need a black guy, oh, we need a gay guy, without knowing anything about the source material or anything. My dog just hopped in. Everybody say hi to Valentine.
Oh, doggo.
He
Can I
opened my
show
door.
Valentine? Can I full screen you? I know you're scared of
Yeah.
that. Okay.
I'm not scared.
Doggo.
It's just always
Okay.
shocking.
It's
Say
just
hi,
like
Valentine.
doggo.
He's far away. If I knew how to zoom, I would zoom in. Hey,
Oh,
Valentine.
doggo. So cute. I love doggos.
Yeah, he knows how to open my door. Like he aloha moras my door.
I was like, is that a person? No, wait, it's a dog.
No, it's my dog. So yeah. So in the Interview with the Vampire show, they did that too. They just threw in like gay and black and stuff, just like because they wanted to check those boxes. When what's totally insane is that if they had just waited a little while, like seasons 2 and 3 would have had canon characters who literally change race.
Wait,
If
what?
they had waited till a future season, there is an old white man who
Hmm.
straight up his soul is transferred into the body of a young black man.
Hmm.
Like, and it's canon, so it would have been fine. I would have been like, cool, it's canon. I dig it. But instead, they were like, do you know what? We have to have Louis de Ponte black, and like, and he just wants to freaking get it on all the time. So he's getting head in a swamp and stuff. It is so terrible. I could go on about that, even though I did a whole series of videos on it already. But like, they were supposed to be monstrous, and instead they just turned it to like some weird porn. And yeah, Tyler Preston, they did that and more, and it's terrible. And Anthony Darkgift and I did a whole thing on it. Um,
Oh, of course, they turn it into porn. Like that's half of the shit. Half of what all these adaptations nowadays do. It's not even adaptation. Even though they create something original, it's shit. But they have to just subvert something while they're on their way, right?
yeah,
Half of it is ideology, and they just want to use
you're fine,
ideology as
Hyrule
a
Guy. I
reason.
wasn't being mean. Sorry, I want to say I think Hyrule Guy is afraid I was mad. I'm sorry, I was joking. I have a voice that doesn't joke well, and I'm a woman. I should know better. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Ellie's not mean that often. If she's mean, you will know. Yeah.
If I'm truly mean, you deserve it.
There you go. Yeah.
Keep talking. Sorry.
Um. What
Subversion.
was I saying? Subversion. Right. Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. It doesn't matter. That means it wasn't that important. Oh,
No,
I was
it
gonna
was
say.
about
I was just gonna say
erotica, I
something
think.
about. Right, I was
Or
gonna say like half of what a lot of these adaptations are is they want to use ideology as a shield for not having to try that hard and for having. Honestly, you know what? I've come to realize this. Chat, tell me if this is like if this holds any water. I think that because it's become so obvious that all these companies and a lot of our entertainment complex is using ideology as an excuse and as a shield for bad writing. I wonder if it's all in the end it's about just not having to hire actual good writers and people who know how to do their jobs, and it's all about saving money because we have all these questions about where did all the fucking money from and the Amazon show go, where do all these monies for a lot of these shows go.
that's
And
why it started looking like a money laundering scheme.
it fucking does. It totally. I'm like 90% sure that there has to be some money laundering going on
Dude, there
because
there was a
half of
freaking
them, like,
did you watch The Rings of Power?
I
Any of it?
unfortunately,
Okay,
well, I watched a few episodes and then I've just been watching reviews because I can't stand it.
one of the wolf creatures that they had, like it's supposed to be far away and it's supposed to be
Oh, this
like
creature.
charging.
It looks so bad. Oh,
I just watched reviews like I said, but I'm
yep.
watching this. I think it was a warg, and it's supposed to be like running from like some sort of hole, but it just straight up looked so cheap. Like it transported me back to like Xena when like that was acceptable.
Mhm.
When it was like it just looked like a screen that they forgot to paint, and then it was like
Jeez.
like I could do that in my freaking garage, dude. Like what are you doing? Where did this $1 billion go, you retards? Come
No,
on now.
it's completely being laundered. 40% said they're succeeding. The plan was always subvert and destroy. Yeah, yeah. It really doesn't work to just like critique their work. Well, it does, but we should people should be critiquing their work and pointing out how bad the stories are and making fun of them and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, well, right, I completely am realizing that they're. It's not just they don't realize how bad they are; they just don't care. Like they
Yeah.
really. I think that some of the actors because everybody in Hollywood is fucking stupid. Actors are not very bright people. Okay, they're adult pretenders, as Neurotic says. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think some of them really believe this shit. They're like, we're doing good. We're being so progressive. We're representing people, and this is good and inspiring for people. I think they really believe that. But at the top, the people behind all this, they know what they're doing. They know this is just a scheme for saving money. This is money laundering, and they don't fucking care about the source material at all. And then you have definitely people who ideologically just want to subvert our culture and destroy culture. So it's both sides. There are some people who are just greedy, and there are some people who are just fucking evil and want to destroy everything we have in our mythology.
Well, fortunately, we're working hard to bring that back, and all the stuff that we do is memorable and good. And I know you said you can't talk so much about your monsters because you don't want to uh do spoilers. But
Yeah, kind
could
of.
you go on your website and show some art of monsters that you've drawn?
Yeah, I actually just pulled it up because I was going to
There you go.
just tell everybody about the website. And Shane is shilling Berserk. Thanks, Shane.
Good job. See,
Half of my channel is helping Mira's estate make money because I
you
shill
should buy
Berserk so
Berserk.
much. You should. It's good. So
There's nothing wrong with loving something that you love. And I find it refreshing to see you how you sat there and kind of fangirled over it. It was nice to see you happy and enjoying talking about something.
it's
And the art is great. So
look,
there's nothing wrong with that, dude.
it's so cool. Berserk is a really
It
good
is so
story.
cool.
Like it's yeah. I've been having like some discussions about anime and manga and shit. It's to be clear, I'm not just a blanket fan of all anime and manga. Like, there's a lot of shit out there that I find like the cutesy stuff. I hate it, but the thing is, like, the stuff I like because I just happen to grow up in Asia, and the stuff that I like is stuff like Berserk and like the high fantasy stuff, or just Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga is historical, but it's like this very realistic story, and the art is beautiful, and the character arcs are so good, and so it's really just comics. I don't care if it's from Japan or where it's from, where what part of the world any of it is from. And Berserk is seriously one of the best comics that have ever been created. It is epic. It is deeply psychological, and there's a lot of originality in it, and it's beautiful as shit. You should read it. It's a
It
little
looks really
disturbing though.
cool.
It's a
I
little
like
disturbing.
I really like black and white art because not everyone can do it. I think in a certain way there are a lot of artists who over rely on color.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody like this or somebody like Bernie Wrightson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like can do freaking they're like sorcerers with black and white.
Oh my god.
So yeah, speaking of Frankenstein's monster, Bernie Wrightson, his Frankenstein drawings are fucking beautiful.
That
Like
book is fucking beautiful.
blow your mind,
Mm-hmm.
insanity. And like Frankenstein's probably my favorite book of all time. Well, my favorite grown-up book.
Mm-hmm.
But like the things that he did, like the things Bernie Wrightson did with that art, like absolutely changed everything about Frankenstein for me. That's how freaking great that art is. Like who thought that you could do glass, a whole room of glass in cross hatching? That's insane. That's magical. He's a freaking I'm ensorcelled. Okay? When I look at Bernie Wrightson's art,
Ensorcelled.
I am ensorcelled. It's like a woman doing makeup. That's how intense it is. Yes, inking is an art. Wayland Todd. OMG, yes. Exactly. Look at
This
that.
is
That is fucking
completely amazing.
crazy.
The thing is, man, it's
Look
hard
at that.
enough
It
to
takes
just
your
draw
breath
the.
away.
Yeah, yeah. He's really truly amazing
John, what is
master.
that word?
I wish
Ensorcelled.
ensorcelled. We learned a new word. I like that word. That sounds awesome.
I'm a
I
writer.
wish oh, if only all comics could look like, but you can't. Like, you need. This takes too much time. A lot about comics is you have to find like a quick drawing style, but like this is it's kind of like a picture book. It's not like a full comic, but if you don't have this book, fucking get it or read it. This is one of
Dude,
the most
find
beautiful
there's
things that I've
one
ever
where he's
read.
in the laboratory. Oh, it's right down there. Go down one.
It's where this which one?
It went away now because you clicked on a
Oh,
different thing.
mhm.
Uh,
Which one?
he's in his laboratory and it's like clear that everything is glass in it.
Uh huh.
Like all of the implements are glass. But yeah. Okay. So that's all glass.
Yeah.
And he did that with cross hatching
Yep.
without it just being clear. Like
Look at this.
that's magic. Like I don't care. He had a magic freaking pen or something. Like
No,
he's a freaking sorcerer.
I can see how he did it. He probably sketched out in pencil first, and then used different density of hatching to on top of the pencils, because when you're inking, a lot of the time you leave the gradient to the colors, because this takes fucking forever, and well, nobody has time to really do. Like, if you're trying a whole comic like this, you never get done. But I can see how he did this. So fucking brilliant. This stuff is hard because when you're hatching an object, you have to think about the texture. You have to incorporate not just the light. You have to find a balance between the direction of the light and
Mm-hmm.
the natural texture of the object. Like, look at how the cloth flows. The hatching follows the flow of the cloth, and in the wood, the hatching follows the grain of the wood.
But
Except over
you
here,
can still see the light source. It's fucking
yeah.
crazy. Like
Yep.
maybe it's because I'm not an artist that I'm just like my mind is just blown, but like
Ellie's fangirling over Renie writes it. Well, we all should.
yeah, this piece is huge. Yeah, Will Perdomo. He has some of these pieces in his house, or at least he did. He used to. And he brought one up and like showed it to me, and I was just like in awe cuz the pieces are really big. It's insane. Like
Wow.
friggin' I have a weakness for like cross hatching and black and white, and like that's part of why like I like the Barton Bros. Their book is freaking great because well, they had a black and white and a color version, and I ordered the black and white version because it's like as close to Bernie Wrightson as you're gonna get today. Like, quite honestly, it is so freaking swell. I have it over there, but it's all wrapped up.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. Dude, glass. Like, you're looking at it and you're like, I know how to do that, Ellie, you fucking retard. Like,
No. I'm not saying I can do this. I see, like, knowing how someone does it or being able to do it are different things. I'm just let me be clear. He's a fucking genius. But yeah.
thank you, Alex.
No.
Um,
This is amazing.
totally.
We should all fangirl for Bernie Wrightson.
We could do just a Bernie Wrightson stream at some point, like for real. Like I
Should.
could just
All right,
talk
Winsor
forever.
Smith is amazing. Yeah. All these like classic artists, man.
How do you use
Oh.
that 6 foot tall beaker? You know what, Scootran? You stop it.
It doesn't matter.
I'm sure there's some sort of like really intense freaking doctor like chemistry reason for why it has to be really long like that. Something about how much oxygen it takes to reach the bottom of the beaker, and you know he probably has a freaking like I don't know, some sort of straw thing or a rubber
He
thing.
distills
It'll
things
work.
really,
Okay.
really hard.
Yes.
He ultra super distills everything in that beaker. It's like the most epic distillery, or what the fuck ever.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
bomb.
almost 2 though, so I'm gonna have to go. So do you want
Oh,
to end the
okay.
stream and then the week after next, which let me look at the calendar, is gonna be the 20? No, not the
I want
20th.
to keep going. I'm like not done with this discussion, but it is
I
getting
gotta.
kind of late.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah,
It's
we
well,
talked a lot.
we can
We
always
got a
keep
little
going
off
too.
topic, but that's par for the course, isn't it? Let's see. Is there anything that we missed? I think we
I don't
answered
think so.
everything. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna show some pages. I pulled up Bernie Wright since I don't want to show my art.
What? No, you should.
It's
The
nothing in comparison.
the
Oh,
next
look
show
at
will be
my.
the next show will be on the 27th, and it'll be on my channel then.
Yeah.
Just so
Let's
people
see.
know.
Do
We
I
do
have
every
any?
other week, so that Renie and I both have time to work on our respective projects.
Yeah, we're busy people, so it's every other week. Let's see. Do I have any monsters? I have. You guys can read a preview, by the way. If you go to the website, there's a free preview. It's 22 pages. So there you go. Check it out. I have the monsters at the very end of it. Here you go. Here, I just want to show everyone really
There
quick.
we go.
They're asking for it. Yeah,
What is that?
but
Can you say, or can you talk
it's.
about maybe what inspired it or something?
I just wanted to draw something creepy and kind of berserky, and that's it.
Sweet.
Yep. I
That's
literally
enough.
it's so painful for me because I can't tell you guys where the monsters are from, what they are. I mean, some people have already guessed, but like there's like what they actually do is a whole other thing. So I can't talk about it. It just they look cool. I want them to look freaky and you'll find out more. So
Good.
back fiendish now and sign up for Egg Beater. We are both fantasy creators and we're here to do fantasy right and fight all this stupid shit entertainment that's coming out now and ruining media and especially comics and fantasy in general. And that's why we do the show. We talk about world building. We talk about how to actually write and build good characters and build worlds and entertain all of you. And that's why we will make your time worth it. We'll make your support worth it. And thank you for being here with us. You're
Yes,
welcome.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, thank
everyone's
you,
saying that
Kaylee.
they love your stuff. People are
Oh.
sharing links. Thank you so much. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you
Ellie's link. Check it
share,
out.
yeah, if you talk about my books in real life to somebody, and send me your address as a reward for being part of my treat team, I will send you a free egg beater magnet, a beater buddy.
Ooh, nice. That's
And
very.
you don't even have to pay for shipping. That's how much I freaking love you and all
That's awesome.
of the fans. You guys rock. You kick ass. Thanks for hanging out with us and listening to us talk about the things that we talk about and say
Yes.
crazy words.
Truth.
And
Truth. Thank you for
yeah,
being here. You guys are awesome. Philip Owen enjoyed the show. Great show. Yes. Thank you all. You guys are awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So. All right. Next show is going to be the what do you say? 23rd.
the 27th.
27th. Okay. One more housekeeping. I'm gonna be doing an auction tomorrow, so I have one piece that I just hold on titties. Here you go. Gonna do a little more shading on this, but this is what I'm working on. I'm gonna have this piece tomorrow. This is almost done. I sold like everything else, so I had to draw something new for the auction. It's gonna be on Red Valkyrie, so follow me on Twitter. I'm reading draws on Twitter. There's more boobs. Everything I draw has boobs, and I have to remember to censor it for YouTube. So I'm gonna ink this tonight, and my auction slot is gonna be at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Red Valkyrie. So I'll be posting it. If you want any of these pieces or pieces by other people, it's gonna be like a group auction. They're gonna be going all day. Come by the channel. It's gonna be fun, and I'll have a couple of surprise pieces as well that I'll reveal tomorrow. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome again, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, y'all.
Good night,
Bye
everyone.
bye. Oyasumi nasai.
Bye.
Ayasobi.
Yakasobi.